Once upon a time, in the picturesque kingdom of Celestia, there was a beautiful lake known as Starry Lake. This lake was famous for its shimmering waters that sparkled like the night sky, and for the legend of the moonflower, a mystical flower said to grant one wish to those who found it under the light of the full moon. The moonflower was hidden somewhere in the depths of the lake and could only be seen on the night of the grand moon, when the moon was at its fullest and brightest. In a cozy cottage on the edge of Celestia lived a brave and kind-hearted girl named Elara. Elara was known for her adventurous spirit and her love of nature. Her best friend was a clever and loyal turtle named Toby, who had a knack for solving puzzles and discovering hidden paths. One evening, as the grand moon began to rise, Elara and Toby discovered an old, ornate compass buried in a bed of fallen leaves near their cottage. The compass had a glowing gem at its center and a note that read, "Starry Lake awaits. Follow the compass on the grand moon night to find the moonflower." Eager to discover the moonflower and make a wish, Elara and Toby set out on their journey. The path to Starry Lake was bathed in the soft, silver light of the grand moon and illuminated by the gentle glow of fireflies. As they arrived at Starry Lake, they were greeted by its magical beauty. The lake's surface sparkled like a blanket of stars, and the night air was filled with the soothing sounds of nature. However, the path to the moonflower was guarded by three enchanting challenges. The first challenge was the Misty Marsh. This was a foggy, enchanted marsh where the mist concealed hidden dangers. To navigate through, they needed to answer a riddle posed by the marsh's guardian, a wise old owl perched on a branch. "I have keys but open no locks. I have space but no room. You can enter, but you can't go outside. What am I?" Elara thought deeply and then answered, "A keyboard." The owl hooted in approval, and the fog began to clear, revealing a safe path through the marsh. Next, they reached the Bridge of Stars, a delicate bridge made of shimmering stardust that spanned across a wide part of the lake. The bridge seemed to shift and change as they approached. To cross, they needed to arrange the stars in the correct order based on a constellation pattern. Toby's sharp eyes helped them identify the correct pattern, and Elara carefully arranged the stars. The bridge stabilized, glowing warmly as they crossed to the other side. Finally, they faced the Cave of Echoes. This cave was lined with sparkling crystals that reflected and echoed sounds. To find the way to the moonflower, they needed to listen carefully and follow the echoes of a lullaby sung by the cave's guardian, a gentle spirit. Elara and Toby listened attentively to the soothing lullaby, using the echoes to guide them through the winding passages of the cave. After navigating the twists and turns, they emerged into a serene, moonlit chamber. At the center of the chamber, floating gracefully above the surface of a crystal-clear pool, was the moonflower. Its petals glowed with a soft, silvery light, and its beauty was breathtaking. To make their wish, Elara needed to speak her wish aloud with sincerity. Elara approached the moonflower and spoke from her heart, "I wish for the well-being and happiness of everyone in Celestia. I want to see our kingdom flourish and live in harmony." As Elara's wish was spoken, the moonflower's light expanded, and a gentle, magical glow spread throughout Starry Lake and beyond. The light of the grand moon seemed to shine even brighter, and the magic of the moonflower touched every corner of Celestia, bringing joy and prosperity to all who lived there. When Elara and Toby returned to their village, they found it transformed. The fields were vibrant with crops, the animals were lively in content, and the people were filled with a profound sense of peace and happiness. The story of Elara and Toby's adventure in the magic of the moonflower became a cherished tale in Celestia, reminding everyone of the power of kindness, courage, and the magic that can be found in their hearts. And so, Starry Lake remained a place of wonder and enchantment, where dreams and wishes came to life under the light of the grand moon. The end. Once upon a time, in the charming town of Everbrook, there was a beautiful old carousel in the center of the town square. The carousel was a marvel of craftsmanship, adorned with intricately painted horses and golden trim that sparkled in the sunlight. However, there was something truly magical about this carousel. It only operated at midnight, under the light of the full moon. Legend had it that the carousel was enchanted by a benevolent fairy long ago. The fairy had gifted it with the ability to transport those who rode it to a wondrous realm where dreams came alive. But, as time passed, the magic of the carousel faded from memory, and people thought it was just a beautiful but ordinary attraction. One evening, a curious girl named Alara, who had just moved to Everbrook, noticed the carousel's unusual charm. She had heard the stories from the townsfolk but was skeptical. Determined to discover the truth, Alara decided to stay up and see what happened when the clock struck midnight. As the full moon began its ascent into the night sky, Alara hid behind a nearby statue, waiting with bated breath. At the stroke of midnight, a soft, melodic chime filled the air, and the carousel's golden lights flickered to life. To her astonishment, the horses began to move, their eyes gleaming with a mystical light. Alara hesitated for a moment, then stepped forward and mounted one of the carousel horses. As soon as she did, the world around her began to spin, and she felt a gentle, tingling sensation envelop her. The carousel moved faster and faster, and in the blink of an eye, Alara found herself in a breathtaking new world. She was in a land of wonder, where the skies were painted in shades of pink and gold, and trees bore fruit that glowed with a soft, inner light. The ground was covered in shimmering, silver grass that sparkled with every step. Alara's heart raced with excitement as she dismounted and began to explore this magical realm. As she wandered, she encountered whimsical creatures, talking animals, playful sprites, and even a gentle dragon who offered to show her around. The dragon, named Ember, had scales that glistened like stardust and eyes that twinkled with kindness. Ember led Alara to a grand, crystal-clear lake that reflected the moonlight like a mirror. At the center of the lake was a small island with a magnificent tree that had golden leaves and branches adorned with sparkling fruit. The tree was known as the Wish Tree, and it was said that any wish made under its branches would come true. Alara approached the Wish Tree and closed her eyes, thinking deeply about her one true wish. She wished for her family to find happiness and for the new town of Everbrook to become a place of joy and wonder for everyone. As she opened her eyes, the Wish Tree's golden leaves shimmered, and a soft, melodious voice spoke. "Your wish is selfless and kind, and it shall be granted." Suddenly, the world began to spin again, and Alara found herself back on the carousel in Everbrook. The moon was still high in the sky, and the carousel slowly came to a stop. Alara dismounted, her heart filled with a sense of fulfillment and joy. The next morning, Everbrook woke to find that the town square had transformed. The carousel was now more enchanting than ever, with new, dazzling colors and even more beautiful decorations. The townsfolk gathered, marveling at the transformation. They felt an unexplainable sense of happiness and unity, as if a magical aura had been cast over the town. Alara's family, who had been worried about their new life in Everbrook, found themselves uplifted by the town's newfound spirit. The once quaint town now thrived with a sense of community and wonder, drawing visitors from near and far who came to experience the magic for themselves. The carousel continued to spin its magical tales every night, and Alara became known as the girl who brought enchantment back to Everbrook. She had not only discovered the truth behind the carousel's magic but had also fulfilled a wish that made a world of difference. And so, the town of Everbrook flourished under the glow of the moon and the magic of the carousel. Forever a place where dreams and reality danced together in harmony. Once upon a time, in the lush kingdom of Arboris, there was a magnificent lake known as Silver Lake. Its waters sparkled like liquid moonlight and were said to have the power to grant wishes to those who were kind and true of heart. The lake was protected by an ancient and wise guardian, a gentle water spirit named Selene, who ensured that the lake's magic remained pure and untainted. In the nearby village of Loria, there lived a humble shepherd boy named Theo. Theo was known for his kindness towards animals and his deep love for nature. He often dreamt of seeing the Silver Lake and learning its secrets. His grandfather had once told him stories about the magical waters and the guardian who watched over them. One day, while Theo was tending his flock in the meadow, he found a small, wounded bird. With great care, he nursed the bird back to health. As a token of gratitude, the bird, which was a magical creature in disguise, whispered to Theo about the troubles at Silver Lake. the lake's magic was fading because a dark sorcerer named Grimler was trying to steal its power. Determined to help, Theo set out on a journey to Silver Lake. His only companion was a clever little mouse named Pip, who had a keen sense of direction and a knack for solving puzzles. As they ventured towards the lake, they faced various challenges that tested their courage and kindness. The first challenge was a dense fog that enveloped the forest near the lake. In the heart of the fog, they encountered a grumpy old troll named Goran who blocked their way. "To pass, you must solve my riddle," Goran grumbled. Goran's riddle was, "I speak without a mouth and hear without ears. I have no body, but I come alive with wind. What am I?" Theo thought carefully and answered, "An echo." Goran's grumpy expression softened. "You have answered correctly. You may pass. But beware, the path to the lake is fraught with dangers." With Goran's warning in mind, Theo and Pip continued their journey. Soon, they reached the edge of Silver Lake, only to find that it was shrouded in darkness. Grimler had cast a spell that dimmed the lake's light and corrupted its waters. At the center of the lake stood Celine, her radiant form dimmed by the sorcerer's dark magic. She greeted Theo and Pip with a tired smile. "Brave ones, you have come at a time of great peril. Grimler seeks to steal the lake's magic to become the most powerful sorcerer. I need your help to restore the light." Celine explained that to break Grimler's spell, Theo needed to find 3 enchanted gems hidden in the forest. Each gem represented an aspect of the lake's magic: courage, compassion, and wisdom. Only with all 3 gems could the light be restored. Theo and Pip set out to find the gems. Their first stop was a hidden glade where the gem of courage was said to be hidden. There, they encountered a fierce and magical lion named Leon, who guarded the gem. "To earn the gem of courage, you must show bravery," Leon roared. "Face your fears and prove your worth." Theo took a deep breath and approached Leon. He faced his fears head-on, recalling his experiences of helping animals and standing up for what was right. His bravery and pure heart won Leon's respect, and he received the gem of courage. Next, they ventured to a secluded grove where the gem of compassion was hidden. In the grove, they found a sorrowful deer whose fawn was trapped in a snare. Theo and Pip freed the fawn and tended to the deer's wounds. Moved by Theo's compassion, the deer revealed the gem of compassion hidden beneath a moss-covered stone. The final gem, the gem of wisdom, was said to be in a cavern guarded by an ancient owl named Orin. Orin presented Theo with a series of challenging puzzles that required insight and thoughtfulness to solve. Theo and Pip worked together, using their knowledge and wisdom to solve the puzzles, and Orin awarded them the gem of wisdom. With all 3 gems in hand, Theo and Pip returned to Silver Lake. Celine was overjoyed as Theo placed the gems in a ceremonial basin at the lake's edge. The gems began to glow brightly, their light mingling with the lake's waters. The dark spell was lifted, and the lake's magic was restored, shining with its original brilliance. Grimler, unable to withstand the restored light, was driven away by the powerful magic. Celine thanked Theo and Pip for their bravery and selflessness. "You have saved the lake and preserved its magic. Your kindness and courage will be remembered forever." Theo and Pip returned to their village, where they were hailed as heroes. The lake continued to sparkle with its enchanting light, and its magic was shared with all who visited. Theo learned that true power came not from seeking glory but from the courage and compassion one showed to others. And so, the kingdom of Loria flourished, and the tale of Theo and the Silver Lake became a cherished legend, reminding all of the importance of kindness, courage, and wisdom. And they lived happily ever after. In a quiet village nestled between emerald hills and a sparkling river, there was a tale about an enchanted lantern that glowed with a soft, golden light. The lantern was said to possess the power to reveal hidden truths and grant a single wish to those who were selfless and brave. One crisp autumn evening, a young girl named Elara found herself in need of the lantern's magic. Her younger brother, Finn, had been missing for days, and the village was growing worried. Elara, determined to find Finn and bring him home, decided to seek out the enchanted lantern. According to the village legend, The lantern was hidden deep within the Whispering Woods, a forest known for its mysterious and magical creatures. With a heart full of hope, Alara set out as the sun began to set, guided only by the stars that twinkled in the sky. As Alara entered the Whispering Woods, the trees seemed to whisper secrets to one another, their leaves rustling softly in the night breeze. The path ahead was illuminated by the glow of fireflies, leading her deeper into the forest. After walking for hours, she reached a clearing where the air was filled with the scent of blooming nightshade flowers. In the center of the clearing stood a large, ancient oak tree with a hollow at its base. Inside the hollow, Alara found a small, ornate lantern, its surface covered in intricate patterns of stars and moons. The lantern glowed warmly, and as Alara picked it up, a soft voice spoke from within. "Brave soul, you have found the enchanted lantern. To earn its magic, you must complete 3 challenges that test your heart and courage." Alara, though weary, nodded resolutely. "I will face whatever challenges lie ahead to find my brother." The first challenge led her to a babbling brook where a family of ducks was struggling to cross a swiftly flowing section. The ducks were frightened and unable to move. Alara noticed a fallen tree trunk nearby and used it to create a bridge, helping the ducks safely cross the brook. The ducks quacked in gratitude and fluttered their wings, guiding her toward the next challenge. The second challenge was to help a young deer trapped in a hunter's net. The deer was scared and trying to break free. Alara carefully cut through the net with a small knife she carried and gently helped the deer to its feet. The deer nuzzled her in thanks and led her to a grove of glowing mushrooms, marking the path to her final challenge. The final challenge was to solve a riddle posed by a wise old owl perched atop a tree. The owl's eyes gleamed with ancient knowledge as it spoke. "What has roots as nobody sees, is taller than trees, up, up it goes, and yet never grows?" Alara thought deeply, and then her face lit up with understanding. "A mountain." The owl hooted in approval and fluttered its wings, revealing a hidden path leading to a small, sparkling pond. At the edge of the pond stood Finn, who had been following the soft glow of the lantern that Alara had found. Alara ran to her brother, embracing him tightly. "Finn, I'm so glad you're safe." Finn looked up at the enchanted lantern with wonder. "I followed its light. It guided me here." Alara held the lantern high, and it shimmered with a bright, golden light that spread across the pond. The magic of the lantern enveloped them both, and they felt a warm, comforting glow. As they returned to the village, the lantern's light faded gently, leaving behind a feeling of peace and gratitude. The villagers celebrated their safe return and marveled at Alara's bravery and the magic of the lantern. From that day on, the Whispering Woods was seen as a place of wonder and protection, and the legend of the enchanted lantern lived on, a reminder of the power of courage and love. And so, Alara and Finn lived happily, their bond strengthened by their adventure, and the lantern's magic remained a cherished part of their lives. Once upon a time, in the kingdom of Lyria, nestled between emerald hills and glistening rivers, lay a quaint village named Riverview. This village was renowned for its serene beauty and the legend of a hidden treasure known as the Moonstone, said to be tucked away in a mysterious cavern deep within the Whispering Forest. The Moonstone was no ordinary gem. It was believed to have the power to grant a single wish to anyone pure of heart. Many had searched for the cavern, but none had succeeded, for it was said to be guarded by magical creatures and riddles only those with true courage could solve. In Riverview lived a young girl named Alara. Alara was known for her kind heart and adventurous spirit. One evening, as the full moon cast a silvery light over the village, Alara decided it was time to seek out the Moonstone. She wished to use its magic to help her village prosper, as they had been struggling with a harsh drought. With a satchel of supplies and a heart full of hope, Alara ventured into the Whispering Forest. The forest was alive with gentle whispers and soft, glowing lights. As Alara followed a narrow path lined with glowing mushrooms, she felt a sense of both wonder and anticipation. The first challenge Alara faced was a vast, shimmering lake that stretched out before her. The water sparkled like diamonds under the moonlight, but there was no visible way across. As she pondered her next move, a voice echoed from the water's surface. "To cross, you must show courage and resolve. Answer this riddle, and the way will open. A beautiful swan with feathers that shimmered like the moon emerged from the lake. The swan recited, I have keys but open no locks. I have space but no room. You can enter but cannot go outside. What am I? Elara thought carefully and then answered, a piano. The swan nodded approvingly, and the lake parted to reveal stepping stones that led across. Elara crossed the lake with determination and continued deeper into the forest. The next challenge led Elara to a dense thicket, where the trees formed a labyrinth. At the entrance stood a wise old owl perched on a branch. To pass through the maze, you must help a creature in need, the owl hooted softly. Look for the creature that needs your aid, and the path will be revealed. Elara wandered through the maze, guided by the soft hoots of the owl. After a while, she found a small hedgehog tangled in a net of thorns. With gentle hands and a soothing voice, Elara carefully freed the hedgehog. The grateful creature scurried away, and as it did, the thorns parted to reveal the way forward. Finally, Elara reached the entrance to the Moonstone Cavern. The cavern's mouth was hidden behind a waterfall, which cascaded down in shimmering sheets. As Elara stepped closer, a soft, melodic voice spoke from within the waterfall. To enter the cavern, you must face the test of the heart. Show your true self, and the path will open. Elara took a deep breath and stepped through the waterfall into the cavern. Inside, the cavern was filled with glowing crystals that cast a rainbow of colors on the walls. In the center of the cavern stood the Moonstone, perched on a pedestal of crystal. As Elara approached the Moonstone, she felt a surge of warmth and light. She placed her hands gently on the gem and made her wish, I wish for my village to be blessed with rain so that our land may flourish and our people may thrive. The Moonstone glowed brightly, and a soft, ethereal light filled the cavern. Elara felt a sense of peace and joy, knowing that her wish was sincere and came from the heart. With a final burst of light, the Moonstone's magic spread across the land. Elara made her way back to Riverview, where she found that the sky was now filled with dark, rain-filled clouds. The rain began to fall gently, soaking the parched earth and bringing life back to the fields and rivers. The villagers rejoiced, their hearts filled with gratitude for Elara's bravery and selflessness. The village prospered once more, and the story of Elara's quest became a cherished tale told to children and grandchildren, inspiring them to believe in the magic of a pure heart. And so, Riverview thrived under the blessing of the Moonstone, and the Whispering Forest remained a place of wonder and magic, where dreams and wishes came to life. Once upon a time, in a faraway kingdom called Eldoria, there was a village named Amberwood, nestled at the edge of the Whispering Forest. Amberwood was a place where magic was interwoven with daily life, and the villagers lived in harmony with the enchanted creatures of the forest. The heart of this village was a curious and brave girl named Elara, who had a special bond with the animals and plants around her. Elara lived with her grandparents, who were known as the keepers of the forest. Her grandmother, Arwen, was a healer with profound knowledge of herbal medicine, and her grandfather, Finian, was a storyteller who knew the ancient legends of their land. One evening, Finian told Elara a tale about the legendary Crystal of Light, a powerful gem that had the ability to dispel darkness and bring prosperity. The crystal was said to be hidden in the heart of the Whispering Forest, protected by powerful enchantments and magical creatures. The next morning, a dark cloud cast a shadow over Amberwood, and the village's once bright and lively atmosphere grew gloomy. The crops began to wither, and a chilling wind blew through the village. The elders convened and concluded that the only way to save Amberwood was to find the Crystal of Light. Inspired by her grandfather's stories, Elara volunteered to embark on this perilous journey. Her loyal companion, a clever and resourceful fox named Rusty, decided to join her. With a heart full of courage, Elara and Rusty set off into the Whispering Forest. The trees whispered ancient secrets, and the air was filled with the scent of pine and earth. As they ventured deeper, they encountered their first challenge, a wide, mist-covered lake with no visible way across. As they pondered their predicament, a graceful swan glided towards them. To cross this lake, you must answer my riddle, the swan said. what has roots that nobody sees, is taller than trees, up it goes, and yet never grows. Elara thought for a moment and then replied, a mountain. The swan nodded and flapped its wings, creating a shimmering bridge of light across the lake. Elara and Rusty crossed safely and continued their journey. Soon, they arrived at a dense thicket where the path was blocked by thorny vines. An old, wise owl perched on a branch above them, watching with keen eyes. To pass through this thicket, you must show your wisdom, the owl hooted. What can fill a room but takes up no space? Elara smiled and answered, light. The owl nodded approvingly, and the thorny vines parted, revealing a clear path. As they walked through, they reached a beautiful meadow where a unicorn with a silvery mane stood, its horn glowing faintly. My magic is fading, and I can no longer guard the crystal of light, the unicorn said. To find the crystal, you must show compassion. Can you help me? Elara, remembering her grandmother's teachings, gathered herbs and created a healing potion. She offered it to the unicorn, who drank it gratefully. Immediately, the unicorn's strength was restored, and it shone with radiant light. You have shown great kindness, the unicorn said. Climb on my back, and I will take you to the crystal of light. Elara and Rusty climbed onto the unicorn's back, and in a flash of light, they were transported to a hidden glade. At the center of the glade stood a magnificent crystal pedestal, upon which rested the crystal of light, glowing with an ethereal brilliance. However, as Elara approached the crystal, a dark figure emerged from the shadows. It was Morwen, a sorceress who sought to claim the crystal's power for herself. You cannot take the crystal. Morwen snarled, her eyes blazing with malice. It belongs to me. Elara stood her ground, her heart pounding but her resolve unwavering. The crystal of light belongs to those who wish to use its power for good, not for darkness. Morwen raised her staff, ready to cast a spell, but Rusty darted forward and knocked the staff from her hands. In the ensuing struggle, Elara seized the crystal of light and held it high. A brilliant light burst forth, dispelling the shadows and banishing Morwen from the glade. With the crystal in her hands, Elara made a wish. I wish for the darkness over Amberwood to be lifted and for our village to thrive once more. The crystal of light glowed brightly, and a wave of magic spread throughout the land. The dark cloud over Amberwood dissipated, the crops flourished, and the village was filled with light and warmth once again. Elara and Rusty returned to Amberwood as heroes, greeted with cheers and celebrations. The crystal of light was placed in a special shrine in the village, where its magic could continue to protect and nourish the land. Elara's bravery and kindness were remembered for generations, her story inspiring others to act with courage and compassion. And so, the village of Amberwood thrived under the watchful eyes of its brave young hero, living happily ever after. The tale of the brave little tailor in the starry cloak. Once upon a time, in a bustling kingdom called Eldoria, there was a small tailor's shop at the edge of the marketplace. The shop was owned by a young and clever tailor named Finn. Finn was not just an ordinary tailor, he was known for his extraordinary skill in creating garments that were both beautiful and magical. His finest work was a cloak that shimmered like the night sky, with tiny stars woven into the fabric. It was said that this cloak held great power, but Finn had never sold it, waiting for the right person who truly needed its magic. One day, news spread throughout the kingdom that Princess Marin, the king's only daughter, had fallen under a terrible curse. She had been given an enchanted spindle by a wicked sorcerer, and when she pricked her finger on it, she fell into a deep sleep. The king's magicians tried everything to wake her, but nothing worked. The entire kingdom was in despair. The king, desperate to save his daughter, sent out a decree: anyone who could break the curse and awaken the princess would be rewarded with half the kingdom and the princess's hand in marriage. Many brave knights and wise scholars attempted to break the curse, but all failed. When Finn heard the news, he knew what he had to do. He took the starry cloak from its special place in his shop and set out for the royal palace. Though he was not a knight or a scholar, Finn believed in the magic of the cloak and his own courage. The journey to the palace was long, and Finn had to pass through the Darkwood Forest, a place known for its dangers and mysteries. As he entered the forest, he was met by a talking raven with feathers as black as night. "Where are you going, little tailor?" the raven croaked. "I'm going to the palace to save Princess Maren," Finn replied. The raven tilted its head and looked at the cloak in Finn's arms. "That cloak you carry is special. But beware, the Darkwood is full of tricks and traps. You will need more than just the cloak's magic." "I will be careful," Finn said. "Thank you for the warning." The raven cawed and flew off into the trees. Finn continued his journey, keeping his wits about him. Soon, he encountered a deep, swirling fog that covered the path. In the fog, he could hear strange whispers, telling him to turn back. But Finn wrapped the starry cloak around himself, and the stars on the cloak began to glow, lighting his way through the fog. The whispers faded, and Finn pressed on. Next, Finn came to a rushing river with no bridge or boat in sight. The river was too wide and too strong to swim across. As he stood at the edge, wondering what to do, he noticed a large, shimmering fish swimming close to the shore. "Why do you look so troubled, little tailor?" the fish asked. "I need to cross the river to reach the palace, but there is no way across," Finn replied. The fish flicked its tail and splashed the water. "I will help you cross, but first, you must help me. There is a hook caught in my fin, and it causes me great pain." Without hesitation, Finn knelt down and carefully removed the hook from the fish's fin. The fish sighed with relief and smiled. "Thank you, kind tailor. Now, climb onto my back, and I will carry you across the river." Finn did as the fish said, and with a powerful leap, the fish carried him safely to the other side. Finn thanked the fish and continued on his way. Finally, Finn arrived at the royal palace. The king greeted him with a weary smile, though he doubted that a simple tailor could succeed where so many others had failed. Nevertheless, he led Finn to the chamber where Princess Maren lay, still under the curse. The room was dark, with thick curtains drawn to block out the light. Princess Maren lay on a grand bed, her face pale and her breathing shallow. The cursed spindle was placed on a pedestal beside her, still glowing with a malevolent light. Finn approached the princess and carefully draped the starry cloak over her. The stars on the cloak began to twinkle brightly, casting a gentle light over the room. As the light touched the cursed spindle, it started to crack and crumble until it dissolved into dust. The curse was broken, and Princess Maren's eyes fluttered open. She took a deep breath and looked around, her face lighting up with relief and gratitude. The king, overwhelmed with joy, embraced his daughter and turned to Finn. "You have done what no one else could," the king said. "You have saved my daughter and our kingdom. As promised, you shall have half the kingdom and the princess's hand in marriage." But Finn, humble as ever, shook his head. "I'm honored by your offer, your majesty, but I'm just a tailor. I have no desire to rule a kingdom or marry a princess. All I wish is to continue my work and help those in need." The king was taken aback by Finn's modesty, but he respected the tailor's wishes. "Very well, Finn. You may keep the starry cloak, and you shall be rewarded with a chest of gold. Our kingdom will always be in your debt." Finn thanked the king and Princess Maren, and after a grand celebration, he returned to his little shop at the edge of the marketplace. The starry cloak was placed back in its special place, waiting for the next time its magic would be needed. And so, the brave little tailor lived happily ever after, content with his simple life, knowing that true courage and kindness are the greatest treasures of all. I hope you enjoyed this fairy tale. In the heart of the Whispering Woods, where sunlight danced through the leaves and shadows whispered ancient secrets, there lay a small village called Eldergrove. The villagers were known for their kindness, and they lived in harmony with the magical creatures that inhabited the surrounding forest. At the edge of Eldergrove stood a quaint little cottage where lived a kind old woman named Elara. Elara was a beloved figure in the village, known for her wisdom and her magical lantern. This lantern wasn't just any lantern, it was an enchanted one that glowed with a soft, warm light, and it was said to grant a single wish to anyone who truly needed it. One chilly autumn evening, a young girl named Lila came to Elara's cottage, her cheeks red from the cold. Lila was known for her bravery and her kindness, but lately, she had been troubled. Her village had been facing a severe drought, and the once vibrant fields were now dry and barren. The villagers were worried, for their crops were failing, and they had begun to lose hope. Lila walked up to Ilara's door and knocked gently. Ilara, with her warm, welcoming smile, invited Lila inside. As Lila entered, the cottage was filled with the comforting aroma of freshly baked bread and herbs. "What brings you here, my dear?" Ilara asked, her eyes twinkling with curiosity. Lila took a deep breath and said, "The village is in trouble. We haven't had rain in months, and our fields are dying. I came to ask if the enchanted lantern can help us." Ilara nodded thoughtfully. The lantern is a powerful gift, but it's important to remember that it can only grant one wish. It must be a wish made with a pure heart. Lila nodded vigorously. "I understand. I wish for rain to save our crops and bring life back to our fields." Ilara smiled gently and handed Lila the lantern. "You may make your wish, but remember to believe in the magic." Lila took the lantern and stepped outside into the crisp night air. She held the lantern close and closed her eyes tightly. She whispered her wish into the night, "Please, bring rain to save our village." As she spoke, the lantern's light began to shimmer and sparkle more brightly. A gentle breeze picked up, rustling the leaves and carrying Lila's wish high into the sky. The light from the lantern grew stronger, and then, with a soft, musical chime, the lantern's glow faded. Lila watched with hopeful eyes as clouds began to gather in the sky. The first drops of rain began to fall, gently at first, then steadily. It wasn't long before a downpour of rain drenched the parched earth. Lila felt a sense of relief and joy wash over her. The rain continued through the night and into the morning. By dawn, the fields were soaking up the much-needed moisture. The villagers awoke to the sound of rain pattering on their roofs and rushed outside to see the fields coming back to life. When Lila returned to the village, the villagers greeted her with cheers and gratitude. They danced in the rain and celebrated the return of their crops. The drought had been broken, and hope had been restored. Ilara's lantern had done its magic, but it was Lila's courage and selflessness that had made the wish possible. Lila knew that the true magic wasn't just in the lantern but in the heart of every person who believed in kindness and hope. And so, the village of Eldergrove thrived once more, with lush fields and happy hearts. Lila continued to help her village, always remembering that the real magic came from the goodness within people. Ilara's lantern remained a cherished symbol of hope and magic, reminding everyone that even in the darkest times, a single wish made with a pure heart could bring light and change. And that was the tale of the enchanted lantern and the brave girl who made a wish for her village. Once upon a time, in a charming village nestled between rolling hills and sparkling rivers, there was a grand, ancient willow tree known as the Whispering Willow. This tree was said to possess magical powers, and it was revered by the villagers who believed that the tree could speak to those who truly listened. The Whispering Willow was at the heart of the village, and its branches swayed gently, always seeming to murmur secrets of old. The village was home to a kind and brave girl named Alina. Alina had always felt a special connection to the Whispering Willow and spent many afternoons sitting beneath its branches, listening to its soft whispers. She believed that the tree held the key to a long-forgotten secret that could help her village thrive even more. One day, the village faced a terrible drought. The rivers had dried up, and the crops were withering. The villagers were worried and turned to Alina for help, knowing her bond with the Whispering Willow might be their last hope. Determined to find a solution, Alina decided to seek the wisdom of the Whispering Willow more deeply than ever before. As the sun set and the sky was painted in hues of pink and orange, Alina approached the ancient tree with a heavy heart and an open mind. "Whispering Willow," she said softly, "I need your guidance. Our village is suffering, and we don't know how to save it. Please, help us." The wind rustled through the willow's leaves, and a soothing, melodic voice spoke from within. "To save your village, you must seek the heart of the forest. It is a hidden treasure with the power to bring water and life back to your land. But to find it, You must first prove your courage, kindness, and wisdom. Alina listened carefully, and the Whispering Willow gave her a map marked with cryptic symbols. The map led her into the depths of the forest, a place known for its magical creatures and hidden mysteries. The first part of her journey led her to a sparkling pond surrounded by glowing fireflies. Here, Alina faced the task of courage. A mischievous water sprite had been playing tricks on travelers, causing them to lose their way. The sprite challenged Alina with riddles and illusions. Alina, with her heart full of bravery, solved each riddle and faced the illusions with steadfast resolve. The sprite, impressed by Alina's courage, revealed a hidden path that led further into the forest. Next, Alina arrived at a grove where she found a family of injured deer. The grove had become overrun with thorny vines that made it difficult for the deer to move. This was the task of kindness. Alina carefully cleared the vines and tended to the deer's wounds, using the healing herbs she carried. The deer, grateful for her kindness, guided her to the next part of her journey. Finally, Alina reached an ancient stone archway covered in glowing runes. This was the task of wisdom. The runes formed a complex puzzle, and solving it required both knowledge and intuition. Alina studied the runes and used her understanding of the forest's lore, as well as clues given by the Whispering Willow. She arranged the runes correctly, causing the archway to open and reveal a hidden chamber. Inside the chamber, Alina found a shimmering crystal encased in a golden pedestal. This was the heart of the forest. As she touched the crystal, it began to glow brightly, and a warm, gentle rain started to fall outside. The rain revitalized the land, filling the rivers and nourishing the crops. Alina returned to her village with the crystal, and the villagers celebrated as the drought ended and life returned to their land. The Whispering Willow's magic had indeed saved them. The villagers expressed their gratitude to Alina for her bravery, kindness, and wisdom. From that day on, Alina was celebrated as a hero, and the Whispering Willow became even more revered as a symbol of hope and magic. The village thrived, and the ancient tree continued to whisper its secrets to those who listened with their hearts. And so, the tale of Alina and the Whispering Willow became a cherished story, reminding everyone that with courage, kindness, and wisdom, even the most daunting challenges can be overcome, and magic can be found in the most unexpected places. Once upon a time, in a land where the skies were always blue and the meadows were filled with wildflowers, there lay the kingdom of Luminera. It was a realm of peace and prosperity, where magic was woven into the fabric of everyday life. At the heart of this kingdom was a village named Sunvale, known for its golden fields and the warmth of its people. In Sunvale lived a young girl named Lila. Lila was known throughout the village for her kindness and her curiosity about the world beyond the village borders. She lived with her father, a humble blacksmith, and her mother, a weaver of enchanting tapestries. Lila's favorite companion was her pet raven, Corvus, who was as curious as she was and often helped her discover hidden quarters of the village and the surrounding forest. One sunny morning, as Lila and Corvus explored the edge of the forest, they came across an old, weathered map half buried in the soil. The map depicted a path leading deep into the enchanted forest, a place whispered about in bedtime stories but rarely visited. At the center of the map was an illustration of a magnificent, glowing crystal known as the Heart of Luminera. Legend said that the Heart of Luminera was a source of immense magic and could grant a single wish to the one who found it. Excited by the discovery, Lila showed the map to her parents. Her mother, with a worried look, warned her of the dangers that lay within the enchanted forest. But her father, seeing the determination in Lila's eyes, gave her a small, sturdy dagger and a pouch of provisions. "You must be brave and wise, Lila," he said. "Remember, true courage is not the absence of fear, but the triumph over it." With Corvus perched on her shoulder, Lila set off on her adventure. The map led her through winding paths and over sparkling streams. As she ventured deeper into the forest, the trees grew taller and their leaves whispered secrets of old. Soon, she arrived at the first challenge, a vast, shimmering lake with no visible way to cross it. Suddenly, a graceful swan emerged from the reeds. "To cross the lake, you must answer my riddle," the swan said. What has keys but can't open locks, has space but no room, and can enter but not go outside? Lila thought for a moment, then smiled. A keyboard, she replied confidently. The swan nodded, and a bridge of light appeared across the lake. Lila and Corvus crossed safely and continued their journey. They soon reached a dense part of the forest where the sunlight barely reached the ground. In the midst of the darkness, they encountered a wise old owl sitting on a low branch. To proceed, you must show your wisdom, the owl hooted. Tell me, what is always in front of you but can't be seen? Lila pondered the question, then said, the future. The owl flapped its wings in approval, and a narrow path lit up, guiding them through the dark woods. As they followed the path, they reached a meadow filled with colorful flowers. In the center of the meadow was a beautiful, but sorrowful, unicorn with a broken horn. The unicorn spoke, its voice soft and melodic. To find the heart of Luminara, you must demonstrate compassion. My horn is broken, and I cannot heal without it. Moved by the unicorn's plight, Lila took out her father's dagger and carefully crafted a splint for the broken horn using sturdy branches and her mother's woven fabric. The unicorn's horn began to glow and then magically mended itself. You have shown great compassion, the unicorn said, now radiant with health. Climb onto my back, and I will take you to the heart of Luminara. Lila and Corvus climbed onto the unicorn, and in a flash of light, they were transported to a hidden glade where the heart of Luminara rested on a pedestal of crystal. The heart was even more magnificent than the stories had described, glowing with an ethereal light that filled the glade with warmth and magic. As Lila approached the heart, a dark figure emerged from the shadows. It was the sorcerer Malachi, who had been searching for the heart of Luminara for his own nefarious purposes. That heart belongs to me, he snarled. Lila stood her ground, her hand gripping the dagger's hilt. The heart of Luminara belongs to all who seek it with a pure heart, she declared. Malachi laughed, but before he could cast a spell, Corvus swooped down and pecked at his eyes, causing him to stumble backward. Lila seized the moment and touched the heart, making her wish, I wish for the power to protect my kingdom from all harm. The heart of Luminara glowed even brighter, and a wave of magic spread throughout the forest, banishing Malachi and healing the land. The heart then transformed into a beautiful necklace, which Lila placed around her neck. With the heart's magic now protecting Luminara, Lila returned to Sunvale, greeted by cheers and celebrations. Her bravery and compassion had saved the kingdom, and she was hailed as a hero. From that day on, Lila continued to explore and protect her kingdom, always guided by the lessons she had learned. The story of her journey and the heart of Luminara became a legend, inspiring generations to come. And so, the kingdom of Luminara lived happily ever after, flourishing under the watchful eye of their brave young hero. Once upon a time, in the heart of the Whispering Forest, there stood a small, hidden village named Eldoria. The village was known for its lush gardens and shimmering streams, but its most remarkable treasure was the enchanted mirror, an ancient artifact said to grant one wish to the pure of heart. The mirror was kept in a grand oak tree in the center of the village, adorned with delicate vines and flowers that bloomed year-round. The villagers revered it, but no one had ever used its magic. It was believed that the mirror chose when it was time for a wish to be granted, revealing itself only when the need was greatest. One day, a young girl named Alara, with eyes as bright as the morning sun, arrived in Eldoria. She had traveled from a distant land, searching for a cure for her ailing mother. Alara had heard tales of the enchanted mirror and hoped it might hold the answer to her prayers. Alara was greeted warmly by the villagers, who listened to her story with kind hearts and open ears. The village elder, a wise old woman named Serafina, invited Alara to stay at her cottage and promised to help her in any way she could. As days turned into weeks, Alara's hope began to wane. Despite her efforts and the kindness of the villagers, her mother's condition grew worse. The enchanted mirror remained hidden, its magic dormant. One evening, as the sky turned shades of gold and pink, Alara took a solitary walk through the forest. She wandered to the grand oak tree, feeling a mix of desperation and resolve. With tears in her eyes, she spoke softly to the tree, "If the enchanted mirror truly exists, I beg you to show yourself. My mother is suffering, and I don't know what else to do." Suddenly, the air around the oak tree shimmered with a soft, golden light. The tree's bark parted, revealing the enchanted mirror in all its glory. Its surface gleamed with an otherworldly light, reflecting not just Elara's image but her heartfelt plea. The mirror spoke in a gentle, melodic voice. "Elara, you have shown great courage and love for your mother. The mirror grants one wish to those who seek it with a pure heart. What is your deepest wish?" Elara's heart ached as she replied, "I wish for my mother to be healed and to be able to return home with me." The mirror's light grew brighter, enveloping Elara in its warm glow. She felt a sense of peace and hope wash over her. The light slowly faded, and the mirror's surface became calm once more. The next morning, Elara received word from home. Her mother had miraculously recovered overnight. The doctors were baffled, but Elara knew it was the magic of the enchanted mirror that had saved her mother. Filled with gratitude, Elara returned to Eldoria to thank the villagers and to bid them farewell. Serafina smiled warmly and said, "The enchanted mirror is a symbol of hope and love. It has chosen you because your heart is as pure as the light it holds." As Elara left Eldoria with her mother, she knew that the village and its magical mirror would always hold a special place in her heart. The enchanted mirror continued to shine in the Whispering Forest, waiting for the next pure-hearted soul who might need its magic. And so, in the heart of the Whispering Forest, the legend of the enchanted mirror lived on, a beacon of hope and the magic of selfless love. Once upon a time, in a land where the moon was always full and cast a silver glow upon the world, there was a hidden kingdom known as Lunaria. Lunaria was a magical place where everything sparkled under the moonlight, and its people were blessed with eternal joy and prosperity. At the heart of Lunaria was a grand castle, and within its deepest chamber lay a mysterious door adorned with intricate moon-shaped carvings. This door had remained closed for centuries, for it was said that only the Moonlit Key could unlock it. The Moonlit Key was a legendary artifact said to possess the power to grant a single, profound wish to the kingdom. However, it had been lost many generations ago, and the door remained unopened, its secrets hidden from all. One day, a curious and kind-hearted girl named Lyra, who lived in a small village near Lunaria, overheard a tale about the Moonlit Key and the mysterious door. Determined to help her village, which had recently fallen on hard times, she decided to embark on a quest to find the Moonlit Key and unlock the secrets of the ancient door. The first challenge, the Forest of Whispers. Lyra's journey began in the Forest of Whispers, a magical woodland where the trees were said to whisper ancient secrets and tales. As she wandered through the forest, she encountered a wise old tree with bark that shimmered like silver. To pass through the Forest of Whispers, the tree said in a gentle, rustling voice, "You must solve this riddle. I have cities but no houses, mountains but no trees, and water but no fish. What am I?" Lyra thought carefully and answered, "A map." The wise old tree's bark glowed warmly, and it parted to reveal a hidden path. "Follow this path to reach the next challenge," the tree instructed. The second challenge, the River of Reflections. Lyra followed the path and soon arrived at the River of Reflections, a serene river with water so clear it mirrored the sky and the surrounding trees perfectly. The river was guarded by a graceful swan with feathers that sparkled like moonlight. To cross the River of Reflections, the swan said softly, "You must answer this question. What has keys but can't open locks, has space but no room, and you can play it but not touch it?" Lyra pondered the question and replied, "A piano." The swan's feathers glowed with approval, and it created a shimmering bridge of light across the river. Lyra crossed the river with a sense of accomplishment and hope. The third challenge, the Cavern of Echoes. On the other side of the river, Lyra discovered the Cavern of Echoes, a grand cave filled with sparkling crystals that cast mesmerizing patterns of light. At the entrance of the cavern stood a grand, ancient door covered in celestial symbols. A soothing voice echoed from within the cavern, "To unlock this door and find the Moonlit Key, you must reveal your true heart. Share your deepest wish and prove that you seek it with pure intentions." Lyra took a deep breath and spoke from her heart. My deepest wish is to find the Moonlit Key and use its power to help my village, so that they can prosper and find joy again. The cavern's walls shimmered with a soft, silvery light, and the grand door slowly creaked open to reveal the Moonlit Key resting on a pedestal, glowing with a soft, magical light. The revelation, restoring the kingdom. With the Moonlit Key in hand, Lyra returned to Lunaria. She approached the mysterious door in the castle's deepest chamber and carefully inserted the key. As the door swung open, a brilliant light filled the room, revealing a magnificent treasure trove of ancient knowledge, magical artifacts, and wondrous gifts. The light from the open door spread throughout Lunaria, restoring its former glory and bringing prosperity and happiness to the land. The people of Lunaria rejoiced, their joy and gratitude filling the air. Lyra's village also benefited from the Moonlit Key's magic, with the land flourishing and the villagers finding renewed hope and joy. The tale of Lyra's quest became a cherished story, a symbol of bravery and the power of a pure heart. Under the radiant light of the Moonlit Key, Lunaria and Lyra's village thrived, forever grateful for the courageous girl who had unlocked the door to their dreams and restored their happiness. Once upon a time, in a peaceful meadow surrounded by a thick, enchanted forest, there lived a small, brave rabbit named Benny. Benny was known throughout the meadow for his curiosity and adventurous spirit. He loved to explore the forest, always hoping to find something magical. One sunny morning, Benny hopped further into the forest than ever before. As he ventured deeper, he stumbled upon a hidden path covered in vines. With a twitch of his nose and a flick of his ears, Benny decided to follow the path. It led him to a magnificent garden unlike any he had ever seen. The garden was filled with flowers of every color, sparkling with dew that glimmered like diamonds. In the center of the garden stood a large, ancient tree with a trunk as wide as Benny's burrow. Intrigued, Benny hopped closer to the tree. As he approached, a gentle voice whispered through the leaves. "Welcome, brave rabbit," the voice said. Benny looked around, his whiskers twitching in curiosity. From behind the tree, a tiny fairy emerged, her wings shimmering in the sunlight. "I am Lila, the guardian of this magical garden," she said. "You have shown great courage to venture this far, and I need your help." Benny, ever eager for adventure, nodded eagerly. "What can I do to help, Lila?" Lila explained that the garden was in danger. The magical tree in the center, known as the Tree of Life, had started to wither. Its magic was fading because a dark spell had been cast on it by the wicked sorcerer, Grimwald. To save the garden, Benny had to find 3 enchanted items: the Pearl of Purity, the Emerald Leaf, and the Sapphire Dewdrop. Lila handed Benny a small, silver amulet. "This will guide you on your quest," she said. "Trust in your heart, and you will succeed." With a determined hop, Benny set off on his quest. The amulet glowed softly, leading him to the first item, the Pearl of Purity. Benny found himself at the edge of a clear, tranquil pond. At its center, on a lily pad, lay the Pearl of Purity, shining brightly. But the pond was guarded by a giant frog, its eyes gleaming with wisdom. To take the pearl, the frog croaked, "You must answer a riddle. What is more precious than gold, but cannot be bought or sold?" Benny thought for a moment and then replied, "A friend." The frog smiled and allowed Benny to take the pearl. With the first item in his pouch, Benny followed the amulet's light to the next destination, the Whispering Woods. There, hidden among the dense foliage, was the Emerald Leaf. As Benny entered the woods, he heard soft whispers all around him. The trees themselves seemed to speak, warning him of Grimwald's traps. Benny moved cautiously, his ears perked up. Finally, he found the emerald leaf high up in a tree, glowing green and vibrant. Just as Benny was about to climb, a sly fox appeared, blocking his path. To earn the leaf, the fox said slyly, "You must show kindness. Help someone in need, and it will be yours." Benny looked around and saw a baby bird on the ground, unable to fly. He gently picked up the bird and placed it back in its nest. The fox, impressed by Benny's kindness, vanished, allowing Benny to take the emerald leaf. With 2 items secured, Benny hurried towards the final destination, the crystal cave, where the sapphire dewdrop was hidden. The cave was dark and cold, with crystals jutting out from every surface, reflecting eerie light. At the very end of the cave, Benny saw the sapphire dewdrop, hanging from a crystal. The cave was guarded by a giant spider, its eyes glowing menacingly. To take the dewdrop, the spider hissed, "You must face your greatest fear." Benny trembled, for he was afraid of the dark. Summoning all his courage, he stepped into the shadows, feeling his way towards the dewdrop. With each step, his fear lessened, and his determination grew. Finally, he reached the sapphire dewdrop and carefully took it. With all three enchanted items, Benny raced back to the magical garden. Lila greeted him with a radiant smile. "You have done well, brave Benny. Now, place the items at the roots of the tree of life." Benny did as instructed. The pearl of purity, the emerald leaf, and the sapphire dewdrop began to glow, their light intertwining and flowing into the tree. Slowly, the tree of life began to revive, its leaves turning green and its trunk regaining strength. The garden flourished, the flowers blooming brighter than ever. Lila touched Benny's nose with her tiny hand. "Thank you, Benny. You have saved the garden and restored its magic. You truly are a brave and kind-hearted rabbit." Benny beamed with pride. From that day on, he was known as the hero of the magical garden. The villagers of Meadowbrook celebrated his bravery and kindness, and the garden remained a place of wonder and beauty for all to enjoy. And so, Benny lived happily ever after, always ready for new adventures and always guided by his brave and kind heart. In a charming kingdom where rolling hills met endless forests, there was a secluded place known as the Starlit Meadow. By day, it was a serene field of wildflowers, but by night, it transformed into a shimmering expanse under the glow of countless stars. The meadow was a source of wonder, for it was said that on rare occasions, the stars would descend and grant a wish to those who were pure of heart. In this kingdom lived a young girl named Lyra, who was known for her kindness and adventurous spirit. Lyra had always been fascinated by the tales of the Starlit Meadow. Each evening, she would gaze up at the night sky, dreaming of one day visiting the magical meadow and making a wish. One summer evening, as the full moon bathed the land in silver light, Lyra decided to venture to the Starlit Meadow. She packed a small satchel with essentials, a lantern, some bread, and a book of poems, and set off through the forest, guided by the gentle glow of fireflies. The path to the meadow was not well marked, and the forest grew darker as she journeyed deeper. Lyra felt a mix of excitement and trepidation. After a long trek, she finally reached the edge of the meadow. As she stepped into the open field, she marveled at the sight before her. The meadow was indeed aglow with thousands of twinkling lights, like a sea of stars had descended to the earth. Lyra found a comfortable spot under an old oak tree in the center of the meadow. She sat quietly, waiting for the stars to appear. As she did, she noticed a soft, melodious hum in the air. The sound was gentle and soothing, like a lullaby carried by the breeze. Suddenly, the stars began to shimmer more brightly, and a figure emerged from the celestial glow, a graceful fairy with wings that sparkled like stardust. Her name was Seraphina, and she had a warm, welcoming smile. "Welcome to the Starlit Meadow," Seraphina said in a voice like tinkling bells. "I am Seraphina, the guardian of this magical place. The stars are here tonight because someone with a pure heart is present." Lyra's eyes widened in awe. "Is it true that I can make a wish?" Seraphina nodded. "Yes, but remember, the stars grant wishes not for personal gain, but for the greater good. Your wish must come from a place of selflessness." Lyra thought carefully. Her heart was full of dreams, but she knew that her wish should benefit others. After a moment's reflection, she spoke. "I wish for the Starlit Meadow's magic to spread throughout the kingdom," Lyra said. "I want everyone to experience the wonder and joy that I feel here." Seraphina's eyes sparkled with approval. "Your wish is a noble one. It shall be granted." With a wave of her hand, Seraphina scattered stardust across the meadow. The stardust glowed warmly, drifting gently through the air. As it touched the flowers and trees, they began to sparkle with the same magical light that filled the meadow. The next morning, when Lyra returned to the village, she was greeted with a remarkable sight. The enchantment of the starlit meadow had indeed spread throughout the kingdom. Flowers in the village square sparkled like stars, and the trees in the forest glowed with a soft, magical light. The people marveled at the transformation, their hearts filled with wonder and joy. Lyra's selfless wish had brought a touch of magic to everyone's lives. The village celebrated with a grand festival, where they shared stories, music, and laughter under the starry sky. The enchantment continued to spread, touching every corner of the kingdom and inspiring people to share their own kindness and dreams. From that day on, the kingdom thrived under the influence of the starlit meadow's magic. The stars seemed brighter, the flowers more vibrant, and the people's spirits uplifted. Lyra's wish had not only fulfilled her dream but had also created a lasting legacy of joy and wonder for all. And so, the tale of the starlit meadow and the selfless wish became a cherished story, reminding everyone that true magic lies not only in wishing upon stars but in the kindness and selflessness we offer to others. The Starlight Bridge. Once upon a time, in a land where the night sky was always ablaze with shimmering stars, there was a hidden village called Lumina. This village was known for its breathtaking beauty and the way the stars seemed to come down to touch the ground. The villagers lived in harmony with the magical starlight that illuminated their homes and fields. At the heart of Lumina stood a grand tower known as the Celestial Spire. From this tower, a magical bridge of starlight arched across the night sky, connecting the village to the constellation of the Silver Swan. Legend had it that the bridge was a gift from the stars themselves, meant to bring guidance and fortune to the village. The darkening sky. One evening, as the stars began to twinkle, a dark cloud spread across the sky. The once bright starlight grew dim, and the bridge began to fade. The villagers were troubled and gathered around the celestial spire, seeking answers. A young girl named Elara, known for her bravery and curiosity, stepped forward. "I will find out what's happened to the bridge and restore the starlight to our village." The village elder, a wise old man named Alaric, nodded approvingly. "You have the heart of a true hero, Elara. The bridge's light is tied to the balance of the cosmos. If it is fading, there may be a disturbance in the stars." A journey through the cosmos. With a determined heart, Elara began her journey. She climbed the celestial spire, where a shimmering portal awaited her. Stepping through, she found herself in a magical realm of constellations and glowing nebulas. She followed the starlight path leading to the constellation of the Silver Swan. Along the way, she encountered various celestial beings, including radiant star sprites and wise moonbeams, who guided her through the cosmic expanse. The Star of Shadows. As Elara approached the constellation, she found a shadowy figure hovering near the Silver Swan. It was a dark entity known as the Star of Shadows, a rogue force that thrived on darkness and chaos. The Star of Shadows spoke in a voice like swirling mist, "I have come to drain the light from the stars and plunge the world into eternal night. The Silver Swan's light will be mine." Elara, though afraid, stood firm. "You cannot take the starlight from our village. The stars are a gift to us, and we will protect their light." The battle of light and darkness. Elara summoned her courage and, with the help of the celestial beings, began to battle the Star of Shadows. The star sprites and moonbeams used their combined light to counteract the dark force. Elara fought with a glowing staff she had received from a kind star sprite, using it to channel the light of the cosmos. The battle was fierce, with darkness and light clashing in a dazzling display. Elara's determination and the support of the celestial beings slowly began to overpower the Star of Shadows. The dark entity struggled against the powerful light, its form flickering and weakening. With one final surge of energy, Elara struck a decisive blow. The Star of Shadows shrieked and dissolved into the void, its dark influence vanishing from the constellation. Restoring the bridge. As the darkness receded, the starlight began to return. The Silver Swan constellation shone brightly once more, and the magical bridge of starlight reappeared, arching across the night sky. Elara watched in awe as the bridge's light cascaded down to Lumina, restoring its vibrant glow. The celestial beings gathered around Elara, their faces filled with gratitude. You have saved the balance of the cosmos and protected the gift of starlight, a radiant moonbeam said. For your bravery, we grant you a fragment of the silver swan's light. Elara received a small, glowing pendant, which would always remind her of her adventure and the bond between her village and the stars. A hero's return. Elara returned to Lumina, where she was greeted with cheers and celebrations. The villagers rejoiced as the bridge of starlight illuminated their homes once more. Elara shared her tale of bravery, and the village celebrated her as a true hero. The starlight bridge continued to shine brightly, a symbol of hope and the eternal connection between Lumina and the cosmos. Elara's story became a cherished legend, inspiring future generations to value the light and beauty of their world. And so, under the ever-bright starlight, Lumina thrived, forever protected by the courage and spirit of one brave girl who saved the night. Once upon a time, in the beautiful kingdom of Luminera, there lived a wise and kind-hearted king named Eric and his equally beloved queen, Elara. They had a daughter named Amara, who was as brave as she was beautiful. Amara loved her people and spent her days learning about the kingdom and helping those in need. But despite her cheerful demeanor, there was always a sense of mystery about her. One fateful day, Queen Elara fell gravely ill. Despite the efforts of the kingdom's best healers, her condition continued to worsen. Desperate to save her mother, Princess Amara sought the counsel of the kingdom's oldest sage, an elderly woman named Matilda who lived in a secluded cottage deep within the Whispering Woods. Matilda listened intently to Amara's plight. "There is one thing that might save your mother," she said, her voice trembling with age. "The enchanted mirror of Seraphine. It possesses powerful magic that can heal even the gravest of illnesses. However, it is hidden in the Forbidden Fortress, guarded by fierce creatures and treacherous traps." Without hesitation, Amara decided to embark on the perilous journey to find the enchanted mirror. The next morning, with her father's reluctant blessing and a heart full of determination, she set off on her quest. She took with her a loyal companion, a talking owl named Oliver, who had been her friend since childhood. As they journeyed through the Whispering Woods, Amara and Oliver encountered numerous challenges. They crossed a river of swirling rapids on a rickety old bridge, narrowly avoiding being swept away. They navigated through a dense, enchanted forest where the trees seemed to move on their own, trying to lead them astray. After several days, they reached the outskirts of the Forbidden Fortress. The ancient, towering structure loomed ominously before them, surrounded by jagged rocks and a moat filled with dark, murky water. Amara took a deep breath and, with Oliver perched on her shoulder, began to search for a way inside. They found a hidden entrance, a narrow passageway concealed by thick vines. Inside the fortress, the air was damp and cold, and the only light came from the faint glow of torches mounted on the walls. Amara and Oliver moved cautiously, aware that the fortress was filled with hidden dangers. As they ventured deeper, they encountered the first guardian, a giant spider with eyes that glowed like embers. The spider blocked their path, its fangs dripping with venom. Summoning all her courage, Amara drew her sword, ready to defend herself. But Oliver, ever the clever owl, had a different idea. He flew to the spider and began to speak in its language, a series of clicks and hisses. The spider hesitated, then slowly retreated, allowing Amara and Oliver to pass. "How did you do that?" Amara asked, amazed. "I reminded her of the ancient pact between our ancestors," Oliver explained. "We owe each other a debt of peace." Continuing their journey, they faced numerous other trials, including a room filled with shifting floors and hidden spikes, and a corridor guarded by a fierce, fire-breathing dragon. With Oliver's wisdom and Amara's bravery, they overcame each challenge, growing more determined with every step. Finally, they reached the heart of the fortress, a grand chamber where the enchanted mirror of Seraphine was kept. The mirror was mounted on an ornate golden frame, its surface shimmering with a magical light. However, as they approached, the final guardian appeared, a spectral knight clad in armor that glowed with an eerie blue light. "You shall not take the mirror," the knight declared, his voice echoing through the chamber. Amara stepped forward, her heart pounding. "I seek the mirror to save my mother, the queen. Please, allow me to take it." The spectral knight paused, as if considering her words. Only one who is truly selfless and pure of heart may wield the power of the enchanted mirror. Prove your worth, princess. Amara thought for a moment, then realized what she had to do. She knelt before the knight and placed her sword at his feet. I am willing to give up everything, even my life, to save my mother and protect my kingdom. Please, grant me this chance. The knight's eyes softened, and he slowly nodded. You have proven your worth, Princess Amara. The mirror is yours. With great reverence, Amara approached the enchanted mirror and carefully took it down from its place. The moment she touched it, she felt a warm, soothing energy flow through her. She thanked the spectral knight, who bowed in return and then vanished. With the enchanted mirror in hand, Amara and Oliver hurried back to Luminera. The journey back seemed shorter, as if the mirror's magic was guiding them home. When they arrived, they found Queen Alera's condition had worsened. Without wasting a moment, Amara held the mirror over her mother, and its magical light enveloped the queen. Slowly, Queen Alera opened her eyes, her strength returning. She smiled at her daughter, tears of gratitude in her eyes. Thank you, Amara. You have saved me. The kingdom rejoiced at the queen's miraculous recovery. King Eric declared a week of celebration, and Amara's bravery and selflessness became the stuff of legends. The enchanted mirror was placed in a special chamber in the castle, its magic reserved for those in greatest need. And so, Princess Amara continued to rule with wisdom and compassion, her bond with her mother stronger than ever. With Oliver by her side, she knew that any challenge could be overcome with courage, kindness, and a little bit of magic. And they all lived happily ever after. And they all lived happily ever after. Once upon a time, in a charming village bordered by lush forests and rolling hills, there was a hidden garden known only to a few. This garden, known as the Moonlit Garden, was said to bloom with flowers that only opened under the light of the full moon. It was rumored that these flowers had magical properties, but the garden was shrouded in mystery and enchantment. In this village lived a curious and kind-hearted boy named Finn. Finn was fascinated by the tales of the moonlit garden and dreamed of discovering its secrets. He often gazed at the moon and wondered what wonders it might hold. His grandmother, who was the village storyteller, had told him stories about the garden's magic and the guardian who protected it. One evening, as the full moon rose high in the sky, casting a silver glow over the landscape, Finn decided it was time to find the moonlit garden. Armed with a lantern and a small notebook, he set off toward the edge of the forest where the garden was rumored to be hidden. As Finn ventured deeper into the forest, he followed a faint, melodic sound that seemed to float through the trees. The music guided him along a winding path until he reached an old, ivy-covered gate. With a deep breath, Finn pushed open the gate, and a breathtaking sight unfolded before him. The moonlit garden was more beautiful than he had ever imagined. Flowers of every color and shape bloomed under the moonlight, their petals glowing softly. There were roses that shimmered like silver, daisies with golden centers, and lilies that seemed to sparkle like stars. In the center of the garden stood a tall, graceful figure, an elegant fairy with wings that glowed like the moon. "Welcome, Finn," the fairy said with a voice like a gentle breeze. "I am Leora, the guardian of the moonlit garden. Few have ever found their way here. What brings you to our enchanted haven?" Finn's eyes widened with awe. "I've always been fascinated by the stories of this garden. I wanted to see it for myself and learn about its magic." Leora smiled warmly. "The moonlit garden holds many wonders, but it is not only a place of beauty. It has a special purpose. Each flower here represents a dream or wish. To keep the garden flourishing, we must ensure that dreams are nurtured and fulfilled." Finn looked around, seeing the vibrant flowers and feeling a sense of wonder. "How can I help?" Leora's eyes sparkled. "There is a special flower here, the moonflower, which has not bloomed for many years. It is said that it blooms only when a wish from a pure heart is made. If you can find the moonflower and make a wish for something truly meaningful, it will help restore balance to the garden." Determined to help, Finn searched the garden with care. He examined every flower and listened to the whispers of the breeze, hoping to find the elusive moonflower. After a while, he spotted a single, delicate flower hidden among the tall grasses. Its petals were a deep, shimmering blue, and it seemed to glow with a gentle light. Finn approached the moonflower and knelt beside it. With sincerity and thoughtfulness, he made his wish. I wish for the dreams of everyone in the village to come true and for their hearts to be filled with joy and hope. As Finn finished his wish, the moonflower's petals began to open, and a soft, radiant light filled the garden. The light spread out, touching every flower, and the entire moonlit garden began to shimmer and glow more brightly than ever before. Leora appeared beside Finn, her eyes filled with gratitude. Your wish has restored the garden's magic. The moonflower's light will now nurture the dreams and hopes of all who believe in the magic of the moonlit garden. Finn felt a warm sense of fulfillment. Leora presented him with a small, silver pendant in the shape of a moon. This pendant will remind you of the magic you've helped restore. It will guide you whenever you need to find your way. With a heart full of joy and a newfound sense of wonder, Finn thanked Leora and made his way back to the village. As he walked, the pendant around his neck seemed to glow softly, and the moonlit path illuminated his journey. When Finn returned to his village, he shared the story of the moonlit garden and the magic it held. The villagers were inspired by his tale, and the magic of the moonlit garden seemed to touch their lives. Dreams and hopes flourished, and the village became a place of happiness and light. Every full moon, Finn would return to the edge of the forest, gazing at the moonlit night, knowing that the magic of the moonlit garden was always with him. And so, the garden's enchantment lived on, a reminder that even the smallest wish could create the most wondrous magic. The end. Once upon a time, in a quaint village surrounded by dense forests and rolling hills, there was a small, humble cottage owned by a kind woman named Elara. Elara was known for her generous spirit and her love for all living things. Her garden was always blooming, and animals from far and wide came to her for help. One evening, as the sun began to set, casting a warm glow over the land, Elara was tending to her garden when she noticed a strange, golden light flickering among the flowers. Curious, she followed the light and discovered an old, dusty lantern buried under a pile of leaves. Elara carefully picked up the lantern and brushed off the dirt. The lantern was ornately decorated with intricate patterns of stars and moons. It seemed to hum softly in her hands, as if it held a secret. As she brought the lantern inside and placed it on her mantle, the golden light grew brighter. With a soft click, the lantern's door opened, and out floated a tiny, shimmering fairy. The fairy's wings sparkled like diamonds, and her smile was as warm as sunlight. "Thank you for freeing me," the fairy said with a voice as gentle as a summer breeze. "I am Leora, the guardian fairy of wishes. For freeing me, I will grant you one wish." Elara was amazed but also a bit puzzled. She thought about what she might wish for. She had everything she needed and wanted nothing for herself. After a moment's reflection, she said, "I wish for a way to help everyone in our village." Leora's eyes twinkled, and she waved her wand, sending a burst of sparkling light into the lantern. "Your wish is granted. This lantern will now shine with a magical light that can bring joy and aid to those in need. But remember, the light only works if the heart behind it is pure." With that, Leora vanished back into the lantern, leaving Elara with a sense of wonder and responsibility. The next day, a storm hit the village, leaving the villagers in a state of disarray. Homes were damaged, and spirits were low. Elara knew this was the time to use the lantern's magic. She carried the lantern through the village, holding it high so that its warm, golden light could shine upon everyone. Wherever the light touched, flowers began to bloom, broken things were mended, and smiles appeared on the villagers' faces. The lantern's light spread joy and hope, transforming the village into a place of renewed happiness. But as the days went by, Elara noticed something even more magical. The lantern's light began to reveal hidden talents in the villagers. The blacksmith, who had always been gruff, found joy in creating beautiful sculptures. The baker, once shy, discovered a talent for storytelling that brought laughter to the village. the lantern's light helped each person find their own unique gift and encouraged them to share it with others. One evening, as the village celebrated their newfound joy and prosperity, Elara noticed that the lantern's light had dimmed. She was concerned but remembered Leora's words about a pure heart. She knew that the lantern's magic depended on the kindness of the one who carried it. Elara thought deeply and realized that the true magic was not in the lantern itself but in the way it had brought the villagers together and helped them discover their own potential. She decided to pass the lantern on to someone else in need, trusting that its magic would continue to spread. As she prepared to hand over the lantern, Leora reappeared, her eyes shining with approval. "You have used the lantern's magic wisely, Elara. The light it gave was a reflection of your own kindness and generosity. Remember, the greatest magic of all is the kindness in your heart." Elara smiled and handed the lantern to a young woman who had just moved to the village. She hoped that the lantern would continue to bring joy and inspiration to others. And so, the village thrived, and the enchanted lantern continued its journey, lighting up the lives of those who needed it most. Elara's selflessness and the lantern's magic became a cherished story in the village, a reminder that true magic lies in the kindness we share with others. And they all lived happily ever after. The end. Once upon a time, in a tranquil village named Eldergrove, there was a well known for its mystical whispers. The well, tucked away in the heart of an ancient forest, was said to hold the wisdom of the ages. It whispered secrets to those who approached it with a pure heart and a kind spirit. The villagers believed that listening to the whispers could guide them through their greatest challenges. The village was home to a kind-hearted young woman named Iris. Iris loved her village deeply and was known for her generous spirit. Despite her humble means, she always found ways to help those in need, whether it was nursing sick animals back to health or aiding her neighbors with their daily tasks. One spring, a severe drought struck Eldergrove. The once vibrant fields became parched, and the riverbeds ran dry. The villagers were troubled, for their crops were failing, and their wells were running low. The only hope was the Whispering Well, which had not been visited in many years. The village elder, Old Merle, suggested that Iris seek the well's guidance. With a heavy heart, Iris agreed. She ventured into the forest, following the winding path to the Whispering Well. As she walked, the forest seemed unusually silent, and the air grew cooler. Eventually, she reached the well, its stones covered in moss and its rim lined with wildflowers. Iris approached the well and leaned over, peering into its depths. "Great Whispering Well," she called softly, "our village is suffering from a terrible drought. We need your wisdom to save our crops and our home." For a moment, there was silence. Then, a gentle, soothing voice emerged from the well. "To save your village, you must find the hidden spring that feeds this well. It lies beneath the ancient oak tree in the heart of the forest. The path will be revealed to you if your heart is true." Iris thanked the well and set off towards the ancient oak tree. The journey was arduous, as the forest seemed to shift and change with every step she took. After hours of walking, she finally reached the grand oak, its branches spreading wide like welcoming arms. At the base of the oak, Iris noticed a large, smooth stone covered in intricate carvings. She touched the stone, and it began to glow with a soft, golden light. The carvings shifted, revealing a hidden passage beneath the oak's roots. Iris descended into the passage, which led to a subterranean cavern. In the center of the cavern was a small spring, its water shimmering with a magical light. She knew this must be the spring that fed the Whispering Well. As Iris knelt by the spring, she saw that it was choked with debris and overgrown roots. With gentle hands and a kind heart, she began to clear the debris, her movements careful and deliberate. As she worked, she spoke softly to the spring, promising to care for it and protect it as she would her own home. As the last of the debris was removed, the spring began to flow more freely, its waters sparkling with renewed energy. Iris watched in awe as the water swirled and surged, filling the cavern with a soft, melodic sound. With the spring revitalized, Iris made her way back to Eldergrove. She arrived just in time to see the first drops of rain fall from the sky, followed by a steady downpour. The rain nourished the parched fields and filled the riverbeds, bringing life back to the village. The villagers celebrated with joy and gratitude. They honored Iris for her bravery and selflessness, recognizing that her pure heart and determination had saved their home. The Whispering Well, now revitalized by the spring's renewed flow, continued to offer its wisdom to those who sought it. Iris became a beloved figure in Eldergrove, and her story was told for generations as a reminder of the power of kindness and the importance of listening to the whispers of one's heart. And so, Eldergrove flourished once more, its fields green and fertile, its people content and hopeful. The village thrived under the watchful gaze of the Whispering Well and the gentle guidance of a young woman who had listened and acted with love. Once upon a time, in the heart of a lush, ancient forest, there stood a majestic tree known as the Whispering Tree. It was the oldest tree in the forest, its branches stretching high into the sky, and its leaves shimmering with every color of the rainbow. The villagers who lived nearby believed the tree held magical powers, for it whispered secrets and stories to those who were willing to listen. In a small village at the edge of the forest lived a kind young boy named Finn. Finn was known for his curiosity and his deep love for nature. He spent his days exploring the forest, helping animals, and learning about the world around him. One day, as he walked through the forest, he heard the gentle whispers of the Whispering Tree. Intrigued, Finn decided to visit the tree and discover its secrets. As he approached the grand tree, he noticed a small, hidden door at its base. He gently pushed it open and stepped inside. The interior of the tree was hollow but beautifully illuminated with glowing fireflies. At the center of the hollow was an ancient book, covered in intricate designs and glowing softly. Finn carefully opened the book, and the pages fluttered on their own, stopping at a page with a mysterious drawing of a golden key. The book seemed to say, "Find the golden key, and you shall unlock the magic within the Whispering Tree." Finn's eyes sparkled with excitement. He knew he had to find this key. The whispers of the tree guided Finn to follow a winding path deep into the forest. As he walked, he encountered a wise old owl perched on a branch. The owl greeted him and asked, "Young Finn, what brings you to this part of the forest?" Finn explained his quest to find the golden key. The owl, with a twinkle in its eye, said, "To find the key, you must help those in need along your way. Only then will the key reveal itself." Determined, Finn continued his journey. He soon came across a family of squirrels who had lost their way. Finn helped them find their home in the tallest oak tree. As a thank you, the squirrels gave him a small, golden acorn, saying, "This might help you on your quest." Further along the path, Finn found a brook that had run dry. Using his knowledge of the forest, he dug a small channel to redirect the water, restoring the brook to life. The brook gurgled happily, and in the water's reflection, Finn saw a shimmering golden key floating. Finn reached into the water and carefully retrieved the golden key. He thanked the forest and continued back to the Whispering Tree. Upon his return, he inserted the key into the hidden door at the base of the tree. The door creaked open, revealing a dazzling chamber filled with golden light. Inside the chamber, Finn found a crystal vial filled with a luminous liquid. A soft voice echoed through the chamber, saying, "This is the essence of harmony. It holds the power to heal and bring balance to the forest. You, brave Finn, have shown kindness and courage. This essence is now yours to protect." Finn carefully took the vial and stepped out of the tree. He used the essence of harmony to tend to the forest, restoring the balance of nature and ensuring that all creatures lived in harmony. The forest thrived, and the Whispering Tree continued to share its wisdom with all who came seeking help. From that day on, Finn became known as the guardian of the forest. He lived a long and fulfilling life, always guided by the whispers of the tree and the lessons he learned from his adventure. The villagers often spoke of Finn's bravery in the magic of the Whispering Tree, passing the story down through generations. And so, the forest remained a place of wonder and enchantment, forever touched by the kindness of one curious boy who listened to the whispers of the ancient tree. Once upon a time, in a quaint village nestled between rolling hills and the sparkling river, there was a magical garden known as the Moonlit Garden. This garden was said to be enchanted, blooming only under the light of the full moon. Its flowers were renowned for their vibrant colors and sweet fragrances, which brought peace and joy to anyone who visited. The caretaker of this magical place was a young woman named Alara. She had grown up in the village and had always been fascinated by the stories of the moonlit garden's wonders. Her grandmother had passed down the knowledge of the garden's secrets, and now Alara tended to it with love and dedication. One evening, as the full moon rose high in the sky, Alara noticed something unusual. Amidst the familiar glow of the garden's flowers, a single, unusual flower had appeared. It was a deep shade of blue, shimmering with an otherworldly light. Alara had never seen anything like it before. As she approached the mysterious flower, a soft voice echoed through the garden. "Thank you for finding me," it said. Alara looked around but saw no one. "Who's there?" she asked, her voice trembling slightly. The voice continued, "I am Lysander, a guardian of the moonlit garden. I have been waiting for someone with a pure heart to help me break a spell that has bound me to this garden." Alara was astonished. "A spell? How can I help?" Lysander explained that long ago, he had been transformed into a flower by a wicked sorcerer who sought to control the garden's magic. The only way to break the spell was to gather 3 magical ingredients from the far corners of the land. 1. The golden feather from the peak of the Whispering Mountains. 2. The tear of a star from the depths of the celestial lake. 3. The heart of the evergreen tree from the heart of the ancient forest. Determined to help Lysander, Alara set off on her quest. She traveled first to the Whispering Mountains, where the winds carried whispers of ancient secrets. After a challenging climb, she found a golden feather nestled in a nest high atop the peak. The feather shimmered with a warm, golden light. Next, Alara journeyed to the Celestial Lake, a serene and magical place where the water sparkled like diamonds. She waited patiently as the stars reflected on the water's surface. Eventually, a single tear fell from the sky and landed in the lake, turning into a luminous, glowing tear. Her final destination was the ancient forest, where the evergreen tree stood tall and proud. Alara approached the tree with reverence and discovered a hidden chamber within its trunk. Inside was a radiant heart, pulsing with a gentle, green light. With the 3 magical ingredients in hand, Alara returned to the moonlit garden. Under the light of the full moon, she placed the golden feather, the tear of the star, and the heart of the evergreen tree around Lysander's flower. As she did so, the garden was filled with a brilliant light, and Lysander's form began to shimmer and transform. In a flash of light, Lysander appeared before her, no longer a flower but a tall, graceful figure with an aura of gentle light. He thanked Alara for her bravery and kindness. "You have broken the spell and restored the garden's magic," he said. Alara smiled, relieved and happy. "I'm glad I could help. The moonlit garden is truly a special place." Lysander nodded. "And now, you are its new guardian. The garden's magic will be safe with you." From that night on, Alara continued to care for the moonlit garden, ensuring its magic flourished under the light of the full moon. The garden remained a place of wonder and tranquility, cherished by all who visited. And so, the moonlit garden thrived, its blooms glowing brightly with the magic of friendship, bravery, and the gentle light of the moon. The end. In a quaint village nestled between misty mountains and lush meadows, there was a small shop known for its magical curiosities. The shop was owned by an elderly woman named Madame Zara, who was famous for her enchanting lanterns. Each lantern had a unique magic, but the most mysterious was the enchanted lantern, said to grant one wish to anyone with a heart full of courage and kindness. One crisp autumn evening, a young boy named Finn entered the shop. Finn was known throughout the village for his adventurous spirit and his kind heart. He had heard tales of the enchanted lantern and hoped it might help him find his missing sister, Lily, who had disappeared into the dark woods. "Madame Zara," Finn said, "I need the enchanted lantern to find my sister. The dark woods are filled with dangers, and I must bring her back safely." Madame Zara, who had seen many brave souls come and go, looked at Finn with a knowing smile. "The enchanted lantern is a powerful tool, but it requires a pure heart and a brave spirit. Are you prepared for the challenges ahead? Finn nodded with determination. Madame Zara handed him the enchanted lantern, its light flickering softly as if acknowledging Finn's resolve. Take this lantern and follow its light into the dark woods. It will guide you through the dangers and help you find your sister. With the lantern in hand, Finn ventured into the dark woods. The forest was dense and shadowy, with twisted trees and eerie sounds. The lantern's light cut through the darkness, casting a warm, reassuring glow. As Finn walked, he encountered various challenges. First, he came across a wide, rushing river with no bridge in sight. The lantern's light revealed stepping stones just beneath the water's surface. Finn carefully crossed the stones, reaching the other side safely. Next, he faced a steep, rocky hill with a menacing fog swirling around it. The lantern's glow revealed a hidden path along the side of the hill. Finn followed the path, climbing steadily until he reached the top. As night fell, the forest grew colder and the shadows lengthened. Finn began to feel anxious, but he kept the lantern close, its light steady and comforting. Suddenly, a soft, melodic voice reached his ears. It was coming from a small, hidden grove. In the grove, Finn discovered a beautiful fairy with delicate wings and a shimmering gown. She was sitting on a bed of moss, looking sad. "I'm lost," the fairy said, "and I can't find my way back to the fairy kingdom." Finn, despite his own quest, felt a surge of compassion. "I'll help you find your way," he said. "In return, could you help me find my sister?" The fairy's eyes brightened with gratitude. "Thank you, brave boy. I will guide you to your sister, but first, we must find the heart of the dark woods where the enchantment is strongest." Together, Finn and the fairy followed the lantern's light deeper into the forest. The fairy used her magic to clear the path of obstacles and illuminate hidden dangers. After what felt like hours, they reached a clearing where a large, ancient tree stood. Its branches were adorned with glowing orbs. At the base of the tree, lying in a bed of soft leaves, was Lily. She was asleep, surrounded by a gentle, magical aura. Finn rushed to her side, and the fairy gently woke Lily with a soft touch. Lily stirred and smiled when she saw Finn. "You found me," she exclaimed, hugging her brother tightly. The fairy, seeing that Finn's wish had been fulfilled, began to fade. "Thank you for your kindness, Finn. You have restored the balance of the forest and shown true bravery. The enchanted lantern's magic is now complete." Finn and Lily returned to the village, where they were greeted with joy and relief. The villagers celebrated their safe return, and the story of Finn's bravery and the enchanted lantern spread far and wide. Madame Zara, pleased with the outcome, told Finn, "Your courage and kindness have brought light to the darkest of places. Remember, the true magic lies in the heart that dares to wish and the spirit that strives to make it come true." And so, the tale of Finn, Lily, and the enchanted lantern became a cherished story in the village, reminding everyone that even in the darkest times, a brave heart and a touch of magic can guide us home. The end. Once upon a time, in a kingdom where the sky shimmered with countless stars every night, there was a small village named Starlight. The villagers of Starlight were known for their wisdom and their deep connection to the night sky, which they believed was filled with magic and wonder. In this village lived a young boy named Finn. Finn had always been fascinated by the stars. Every evening, he would lie on the grass and gaze up at the night sky, dreaming of adventures beyond the village. One evening, as Finn was stargazing, he noticed a single star that seemed to shine brighter than the others. It twinkled with a mesmerizing, golden light. Finn was so entranced by its brilliance that he lost track of time. Suddenly, the star began to descend slowly, landing gently in front of him. To Finn's astonishment, the star transformed into a tiny, radiant figure, a fairy with delicate wings that glowed like the night sky. She introduced herself as Lyra, the star fairy. "Greetings, Finn. I've come to seek your help," she said with a voice like a soft chime. Finn, wide-eyed with excitement, asked, "How can I help you, Lyra?" Lyra explained that she was on a quest to find the starry compass, a magical artifact that had been lost for centuries. The starry compass was said to have the power to guide anyone to their heart's desire. It was hidden in a mystical land beyond the forest, protected by enchanted creatures and magical puzzles. "I need someone with a pure heart and a brave spirit to help me find it," Lyra said. "Will you join me on this quest?" Finn, eager for an adventure, agreed without hesitation. Lyra sprinkled some stardust over Finn, and they set off on their journey. Their first challenge was to cross the Whispering River, which was known for its mysterious currents and enchanted creatures. As they reached the riverbank, a group of playful water sprites appeared, their laughter echoing through the forest. "Welcome to the Whispering River," said one sprite. "To cross, you must solve our riddle. Answer correctly, and the path will be revealed." Lyra and Finn listened carefully as the sprite spoke the riddle. "I have cities, but no houses. I have mountains, but no trees. I have water, but no fish. What am I?" Finn thought hard, and then his eyes lit up with realization. "A map," he exclaimed. The sprites cheered, and a shimmering bridge made of moonlight appeared across the river. Finn and Lyra crossed safely to the other side. Their next challenge took them to the Forest of Echoes, a magical forest where every sound was repeated by the trees. In the center of the forest stood a grand oak tree with a door carved into its trunk. The door was locked with a combination of melodies. Lyra whispered, "We must play the right tune to open the door. Listen to the echoes and follow their melody." Finn listened carefully to the repeating echoes of the forest. He remembered the lullabies his grandmother used to sing and began humming a gentle tune. The echoes harmonized with his melody, and the grand oak tree's door slowly creaked open. Inside the oak tree, they found a golden chest with intricate designs. Finn opened the chest, revealing a shimmering star-shaped key, the key to the starry compass. Lyra's eyes sparkled with joy. "The starry compass must be hidden in the celestial caves," Lyra explained. "We're almost there." With the star-shaped key in hand, Finn and Lyra made their way to the celestial caves, which were illuminated by the soft glow of countless crystals. Inside the caves, they faced one final test, a labyrinth of mirrors that reflected light in every direction. To find their way, they had to use the star-shaped key to align the mirrors and create a beam of light that would guide them to the hidden chamber. After some effort, Finn and Lyra succeeded in aligning the mirrors. The beam of light revealed a hidden passage leading to a small, enchanting chamber. In the center of the chamber stood the starry compass, glowing with a warm, golden light. Lyra and Finn approached the compass. As they touched it, the compass spun gently and then pointed towards a distant part of the sky. The compass's glow brightened, filling the chamber with a soft, comforting light. "You have done it, Finn!" Lyra exclaimed. "The starry compass is now in our hands. With this, we can guide people to their heart's desires and bring hope and joy to the world." Lyra thanked Finn for his bravery and kind heart. As a token of gratitude, she gifted him a small star-shaped pendant that would always remind him of their adventure. As Finn returned to Starlight, the village was abuzz with excitement about his journey. He shared his tale, and the villagers celebrated the return of the starry compass. From that day on, Finn was known as the boy who helped find the starry compass. The compass's magic brought prosperity and hope to the kingdom, and Finn's bravery became a cherished story passed down through generations. And every night, when Finn looked up at the stars, he felt a special connection to the magical adventure he had experienced and the fairy who had guided him on his journey. Once upon a time, in a lush valley surrounded by misty mountains, there was a village called Elmswood. Elmswood was famous for its vibrant meadows, sparkling streams, and a mysterious lantern that hung at the edge of the village. This lantern, known as the Enchanted Lantern, was said to hold magical powers that could bring prosperity and joy to the village. The lantern had been a cherished symbol for generations, but one fateful autumn night, its light began to flicker and fade. The once brilliant glow was reduced to a dim, sputtering light, casting shadows over Elmswood. The villagers grew worried, for without the lantern's light, their crops began to wilt, and their spirits sank. Among the villagers was a courageous girl named Arya. she had always been fascinated by the lantern and its magic. Determined to restore its light, Arya decided to embark on a quest to find out what had caused the lantern's dimming and to save it. With a heart full of resolve, Arya packed a small bag with essentials and set off toward the enchanted forest, which was said to be the source of the lantern's magic. She was accompanied by her faithful friend, a clever and spirited squirrel named Nutmeg. As Arya and Nutmeg ventured into the forest, they were greeted by the enchanting sights and sounds of the woods. The trees whispered secrets, and the leaves rustled with a soft melody. They soon came across a wise old tree with bark like ancient scrolls. The tree spoke in a gentle, rumbling voice. To restore the enchanted lantern's light, you must seek out the 3 lost fragments of its magic: the feather of the phoenix, the tear of the moon, and the petal of the everbloom. Arya nodded and thanked the wise tree, setting out on her journey to find the first fragment, the feather of the phoenix. The phoenix was a mythical bird known for its brilliant feathers and fiery spirit. Arya followed the directions given by the wise tree, which led her to a high, sunlit cliff. There, perched on a branch, was the phoenix, its feathers shimmering like flames. The bird looked at Arya with wise, glowing eyes. To earn the feather of the phoenix, the bird said, "You must show true bravery." A sudden storm swept across the cliff, with howling winds and pouring rain. The phoenix's nest was in danger of being washed away. Without hesitation, Arya shielded the nest from the storm, using her cloak to protect the phoenix and its eggs. The phoenix, impressed by Arya's courage and selflessness, granted her a radiant feather. With the feather safely tucked away, Arya and Nutmeg continued their journey and soon reached a tranquil, moonlit lake. At the edge of the lake was a beautiful, silver-blue swan. The swan was known to hold the tear of the moon, which would appear only under the light of the full moon. Arya waited patiently by the lake, and as the moon reached its zenith, a single tear fell from the swan's eye and landed in the water. Arya carefully collected the tear in a small vial. The swan, moved by Arya's patience and respect for the moon's beauty, gave her the tear with a graceful nod. With 2 fragments of magic secured, Arya and Nutmeg ventured deeper into the forest, reaching a hidden garden that bloomed under the starlight. In the center of the garden stood a majestic flower known as the everbloom. Its petals were said to glow with the light of 1,000 stars. As Arya approached, a mischievous pixie appeared, fluttering around the flower. To obtain a petal from the everbloom, you must answer my question: what is the greatest gift of all? Arya thought for a moment and replied, "The greatest gift of all is love." The pixie smiled and, with a wave of her tiny wand, plucked a glowing petal from the everbloom and handed it to Arya. "You have answered wisely," said the pixie. With all 3 fragments in hand, Arya and Nutmeg returned to Elmswood. The villagers gathered around the dim lantern, their faces hopeful. Arya carefully placed the feather of the phoenix, the tear of the moon, and the petal of the everbloom into the lantern's base. The lantern began to glow brightly, its light intensifying until it illuminated the entire village. The crops began to flourish again, and the villagers' spirits were lifted. The lantern's magic had returned, bringing prosperity and joy back to Elmswood. Arya was celebrated as a heroine, and her bravery and kindness became a cherished story in the village. The enchanted lantern continued to shine brightly, a symbol of hope and magic for generations to come. And so, Elmswood thrived under the warm, radiant light of the enchanted lantern, living happily ever after. Once upon a time, in a quaint village nestled between rolling hills and a sparkling river, there was a young girl named Elara. Elara was known for her vivid imagination and her talent for painting. Her parents ran a small art supply shop, and Elara spent her days creating beautiful artworks inspired by the world around her. One day, while exploring the attic of their old house, Elara stumbled upon a dusty, ornate frame. Inside it was a blank canvas that seemed to shimmer in the light. Intrigued, Elara decided to take the frame down to her studio and paint something on it. As she began to paint, she felt an unusual sense of excitement. She painted a vibrant, magical forest with towering trees, sparkling streams, and colorful flowers. As she added the final touch, a magnificent golden phoenix, the canvas glowed brightly. Suddenly, the painting came to life, and Elara found herself standing in the very forest she had just painted. Elara was amazed by the beauty of the enchanted forest. She wandered through the trees, marveling at the crystal-clear streams and the melodious songs of the birds. As she explored, she met a talking squirrel named Pip. Pip explained that she had entered the enchanted forest, a magical place that existed in the world of her imagination. However, Pip also warned her of a great danger. The enchanted forest was under threat from a dark sorcerer named Malakar, who sought to drain the forest's magic to increase his own power. The only way to save the forest was to find the Crystal of Light, hidden deep within the Cave of Echoes. Determined to save the beautiful world she had created, Elara agreed to embark on the quest to find the Crystal of Light. Pip offered to be her guide, and together they set off on their adventure. Their journey was filled with challenges and obstacles. They had to cross the Bridge of Illusions, which played tricks on their eyes and made it difficult to find the correct path. Elara used her creativity to visualize the true bridge and guide them safely across. Next, they encountered the Garden of Whispers, where enchanted flowers whispered distracting and confusing thoughts. Elara focused on the soothing sound of a babbling brook, helping her stay calm and lead Pip through the garden without losing their way. Finally, they reached the entrance to the Cave of Echoes. The cave was dark and foreboding, with eerie echoes that seemed to come from all directions. Pip cautioned Elara that the echoes could lead them astray, but Elara had an idea. She began to sing a simple, cheerful tune. Her song echoed through the cave, creating a melody that they could follow. As they ventured deeper into the cave, they encountered Malakar. The dark sorcerer was a tall, shadowy figure with eyes that glowed with malice. He tried to stop them by casting dark spells, but Elara's song seemed to weaken his magic. With Pip's encouragement, Elara continued to sing, her voice growing stronger and more confident. Eventually, they reached a hidden chamber deep within the cave. In the center of the chamber was the Crystal of Light, glowing with a brilliant, pure light. Malakar tried to seize it, but Elara's song reached its crescendo, and the crystal's light intensified. The light overwhelmed Malakar, banishing him from the enchanted forest forever. With the Crystal of Light in her hands, Elara felt a surge of energy and creativity. She and Pip made their way back to the forest, where she placed the crystal on a pedestal at the heart of the enchanted forest. The forest came alive with vibrant colors and renewed magic. The trees grew taller, the flowers bloomed brighter, and the stream sparkled like diamonds. Elara bid farewell to Pip and the magical creatures of the enchanted forest, knowing that she could return whenever she wished through her enchanted painting. She stepped back through the frame and found herself in her studio once more. From that day on, Elara's paintings were more vibrant and alive than ever before. She shared the story of her adventure with the villagers, inspiring them with her courage and creativity. The enchanted painting became a treasured family heirloom, passed down through generations, reminding everyone of the power of imagination and the magic that lies within each of us. And so, Elara's legacy lived on, as her paintings continued to bring joy and wonder to all who beheld them. The enchanted forest flourished, protected by the light of creativity and the heart of a brave young girl who believed in the magic of her own imagination. The end. Once upon a time, in a kingdom called Eldoria, there was a small village named Willowbrook. The village was surrounded by dense forests, sparkling streams, and rolling hills. Willowbrook was a peaceful place, but its people were struggling due to a terrible drought. The crops withered, the animals grew thin, and the once bubbling brook that gave the village its name had nearly dried up. In this village lived a young boy named Finn, known for his kind heart and unwavering optimism. Finn lived with his grandmother, who often told him stories about magical creatures and ancient treasures. His favorite story was about the golden feather, a magical feather from the phoenix of the sun. It was said that the feather could bring life and prosperity wherever it went. One evening, as the sun set over the parched fields, Finn's grandmother called him close. "Finn," she said softly, "the time has come for you to seek the golden feather. Our village is in desperate need, and I believe you have the courage to find it." With his grandmother's blessing and a small satchel of provisions, Finn set off early the next morning. He followed the path through the forest, guided by the tales his grandmother had told him. The journey was long and arduous, but Finn's determination never wavered. As he ventured deeper into the forest, Finn encountered a wise old owl named Athos. Athos perched on a low branch and spoke, "To find the golden feather, you must prove your wisdom. Answer this riddle. What has roots as nobody sees, is taller than trees, up, up it goes, and yet never grows?" Finn thought for a moment, recalling his grandmother's stories. "A mountain," he answered. Athos nodded approvingly and flapped his wings, revealing a hidden path. "Follow this path, and you will find what you seek." Finn continued along the path until he reached a wide, sparkling river. The river's current was swift, and there was no bridge in sight. As he pondered how to cross, a graceful swan glided up to him. "To cross the river, you must prove your kindness," the swan said. "In the reeds, there is a trapped fish. Free it, and I will help you." Finn found the fish tangled in the reeds, struggling to break free. Gently, he untangled the reeds and released the fish into the water. The swan, true to her word, allowed Finn to climb onto her back and ferried him across the river. On the other side, Finn found himself at the foot of a tall, craggy mountain. The path to the top was steep and treacherous, but Finn knew he had to continue. Halfway up the mountain, he encountered a weary traveler sitting by the side of the path. The traveler looked up at Finn with tired eyes and said, "To reach the peak, you must prove your bravery. I have been too afraid to continue. Will you help me?" Finn offered the traveler some of his provisions and encouraged him to keep going. Together, they climbed the mountain, supporting each other when the path became too difficult. When they finally reached the summit, the traveler thanked Finn and revealed himself to be a powerful sorcerer named Alaric. "You have shown great kindness and bravery, Finn," Alaric said. "I will now reveal the location of the phoenix." Alaric waved his hand, and a beam of light pointed to a hidden cave on the mountainside. Inside the cave, the phoenix of the sun sat on a nest of golden feathers. The phoenix's fiery eyes watched Finn as he approached. "Why have you come here, young one?" the phoenix asked in a voice that echoed like a song. With respect, Finn explained the plight of his village and his quest to find the golden feather. The phoenix listened intently and then nodded. "You have shown great courage, kindness, and wisdom on your journey. I will grant you one of my feathers to save your village." The phoenix plucked a single, glowing feather from its nest and handed it to Finn. The feather shimmered with a light that was both warm and soothing. "Use this feather wisely," the phoenix advised. "Its magic is powerful but must be used with a pure heart." Finn thanked the phoenix and began his journey back to Willowbrook. When he returned, he found the villagers gathered in the town square, their faces filled with hope and curiosity. Finn held the golden feather high and spoke, "This feather is a gift from the phoenix of the sun. It will bring life and prosperity back to our village." He touched the feather to the ground, and immediately, the earth began to tremble. Green shoots sprouted from the parched soil, the brook bubbled back to life, and the air was filled with the scent of blooming flowers. The villagers cheered and embraced one another, their despair replaced with joy and gratitude. From that day forward, Willowbrook flourished. The crops grew bountiful, the animals thrived, and the brook ran clear and strong. Finn was hailed as a hero, and the golden feather was placed in a special shrine at the heart of the village, a reminder of the courage and kindness that had saved them all. And so, the village of Willowbrook lived happily ever after, forever grateful to the brave young boy who brought hope and life back to their land. The end. In a quaint village called Meadowbrook, nestled between rolling hills and lush forests, lived a young girl named Lila. Lila was known for her boundless curiosity and her kind heart. She loved to explore the woods and fields surrounding her village, always hoping to uncover some new secret or hidden wonder. One crisp autumn evening, as Lila walked home from the forest, she noticed a peculiar glow coming from a nearby hill. Intrigued, she climbed the hill and discovered a small, ancient stone covered in intricate carvings. the stone seemed to shimmer with a faint, magical light. At its center was a deep blue gem, a starstone, as the village legends called it. According to the stories passed down through generations, the starstone was a magical gem that had the power to grant one wish to a person with a pure heart. However, it had been lost for many years, and its magic was believed to be a mere fairy tale. Excited by her discovery, Lila gently touched the starstone, and a soft voice whispered in her ear, "To awaken the magic, you must follow the path of courage, wisdom, and compassion." The quest begins. Determined to unlock the starstone's magic, Lila set out on a quest. She took the gem to her grandmother, who was known for her knowledge of ancient legends. Her grandmother confirmed the tale and explained that the starstone's magic could only be activated by completing 3 challenges: one of courage, one of wisdom, and one of compassion. Lila packed a small bag with essentials and set off into the forest, following the map of clues her grandmother had provided. The first challenge led her to the Caves of Echoes, a dark and winding labyrinth said to test one's courage. The challenge of courage. Inside the caves, Lila encountered eerie shadows and strange sounds that seemed to play tricks on her mind. The cave was filled with twisting passages and unexpected obstacles. As she ventured deeper, she found herself face to face with a giant spider, its eyes glowing menacingly. Despite her fear, Lila remembered the stories of bravery she had heard. Taking a deep breath, she stood her ground and spoke kindly to the spider, explaining that she meant no harm. To her surprise, the spider revealed itself to be a guardian of the cave and was testing her bravery. Pleased with her courage, the spider allowed her to pass and provided her with a shimmering crystal to help guide her on the rest of her journey. The challenge of wisdom. The next challenge took Lila to the Wise Owl's Grove, where an ancient owl named Olwen awaited her. Olwen was known for his riddles and wisdom. To pass this challenge, Lila had to solve a riddle that would reveal the way to the final challenge. Olwen asked, "I am not alive, but I grow. I don't have lungs, but I need air. I don't have a mouth, but water kills me. What am I?" Lila thought carefully and answered, "Fire." Olwen nodded approvingly and gave Lila a magical parchment that would show her the path to the final challenge. The parchment glowed with a soft light and guided her to the heart of the forest, where the final test awaited. The challenge of compassion. In the heart of the forest, Lila found a small, injured fawn. The fawn was trembling and in pain, unable to move. This challenge was to test her compassion. Lila gently tended to the fawn, using her first aid knowledge and the herbs she had gathered along the way. She spoke soothing words and made a cozy nest for the fawn to rest. As she cared for the fawn, a gentle breeze blew through the trees, and a soft light surrounded them. The fawn's injuries began to heal, and it stood up, its eyes filled with gratitude. The spirit of the forest, moved by Lila's compassion, revealed itself and granted her the final piece of the puzzle. The wish fulfilled. With all 3 challenges complete, Lila returned to the Starstone. As she placed the crystal, the parchment, and the light from her journey near the stone, it began to glow brightly. The magical energy of the Starstone enveloped her, and she felt a profound sense of peace and fulfillment. Lila made her wish, "I wish for my village to thrive and be filled with happiness and prosperity." The Starstone's light spread throughout the land, and the village of Meadowbrook began to flourish. The fields became abundant with crops, the river flowed with crystal clear water, and the village was filled with joy and laughter. The villagers marveled at the transformation and celebrated Lila's bravery, wisdom, and compassion. A lasting legacy. Lila's tale became a cherished story in Meadowbrook, inspiring generations to come. The Starstone was returned to its resting place, waiting for the next pure-hearted seeker. Lila continued to explore and help others, her actions always guided by the lessons she had learned on her quest. As the years passed, Meadowbrook thrived under the blessings of the Starstone. The village remained a place of happiness and harmony, and Lila's legacy lived on as a symbol of courage, wisdom, and compassion. And so, in the magical village of Meadowbrook, the Starstone's light continued to shine brightly, a testament to the power of a pure heart and the magic of a wish fulfilled. The end. Once upon a time, in a charming village nestled between rolling hills and lush forests, there was a legend of a magical garden that only appeared at midnight. This garden, known as the Midnight Garden, was said to be the source of extraordinary beauty and wonder. The villagers spoke of it in hushed tones, for it was believed to grant one heartfelt wish to those who discovered it. In this village lived a curious and kind-hearted girl named Eloan. She had always been enchanted by the tales of the Midnight Garden, but despite her efforts, she had never managed to find it. Every year, on the night of the summer solstice, Eloan would venture into the forest, hoping to uncover the garden's secret. One summer solstice night, as the moon rose high and cast a silver glow over the land, Eloan set out once more. This year, she carried a lantern made from enchanted glass, a gift from her grandmother who had once told her that it would guide her through the darkest of paths. The forest was alive with the sounds of crickets and the gentle rustling of leaves. Eloan walked quietly, her lantern casting a warm, reassuring light. As midnight approached, she followed a trail of faint, sparkling fireflies that seemed to lead deeper into the forest. Suddenly, the lantern's light began to flicker and shine more brightly. Eloan noticed a soft, melodious tune drifting through the air. Guided by the music, she came upon a hidden clearing. There, surrounded by a circle of ancient trees, was the Midnight Garden. The garden was breathtakingly beautiful. Flowers with petals that shimmered like stardust bloomed under the moonlight, and trees with silver leaves swayed gracefully. In the center of the garden stood a grand, crystal fountain, its water sparkling like liquid diamonds. The air was filled with the sweet scent of blooming flowers and the gentle hum of the garden's magic. Eloan approached the fountain, her heart full of wonder. As she neared, she saw a small, delicate fairy hovering above the water. The fairy had wings that glowed like the moon, and she was weaving a magical spell. "Welcome to the Midnight Garden," the fairy said, her voice like a gentle breeze. "I am Lyra, the guardian of this enchanted place. To receive the gift of the garden, you must first prove your heart's true wish." Eloan nodded. "I wish to help my village. We are struggling with a terrible drought, and our crops are failing." Lyra's eyes sparkled with understanding. "Your wish is selfless and pure. To grant it, you must complete a quest. In the garden lies a hidden grove where the heart flower blooms. It is the key to restoring life and prosperity. Find it, and your village's drought will be relieved." With determination, Eloan set off to find the heart flower. She wandered through the garden, her lantern illuminating the path. She encountered various challenges along the way, a maze of tall, whispering grasses that required solving a riddle to pass, and a grove of thorny vines that only parted when Eloan demonstrated kindness by helping a lost baby bird. Finally, Eloan reached the hidden grove. In its center was a magnificent flower with petals that glowed like the first light of dawn. The heart flower was surrounded by a soft, golden aura, and its scent was the sweetest Eloan had ever encountered. As she carefully picked the heart flower, Lyra appeared beside her. "You have proven your worth and true heart. The magic of the heart flower will go to your village and bring relief to its drought." With the heart flower in hand, Eloan returned to her village. As she approached, the villagers gathered around, their faces filled with hope and curiosity. Eloan placed the heart flower in the village's dry well, and as its petals touched the water, a miracle occurred. The well began to fill with crystal clear water, and soon, the entire village's land was bathed in nourishing rain. The crops thrived, the fields turned lush and green, and the villagers celebrated with joy and gratitude. They honored Eloan for her bravery and selflessness, and the legend of the Midnight Garden became a cherished story of hope and magic. As for Eloan, she continued to explore and care for her village, always guided by the lessons she learned in the Midnight Garden. The enchanted lantern she carried became a symbol of the light that guides us through our darkest times, and the village prospered under the blessings of the garden's magic. And so, the village lived happily ever after, forever touched by the magic of the Midnight Garden in the heart of a brave young girl who wished for the well-being of others. The Whispering Willow. Once upon a time, in a picturesque valley surrounded by towering mountains and lush forests, there was a quaint village named Eldergrove. This village was known for its harmony and the mysterious Whispering Willow tree that stood at its edge. The Whispering Willow was said to have the ability to grant one wish every 100 years, but only to someone who truly deserved it. In Eldergrove lived a young boy named Finn, who was known for his generosity and bravery. Finn often helped the villagers with their chores, and he had a special bond with the animals in the forest. However, his village faced a great challenge. A severe drought had dried up the river that flowed through Eldergrove, leaving the land parched and the villagers worried. One day, while Finn was tending to the animals, he overheard the elders talking about the Whispering Willow and its magic. Desperate to help his village, Finn decided he would find the Whispering Willow and make a wish to restore the river and save Eldergrove. The quest for the Whispering Willow. Early the next morning, Finn set off on his quest. He packed a small bag with supplies, a loaf of bread, a flask of water, and a warm cloak, and ventured into the forest. The path to the Whispering Willow was said to be filled with trials that tested one's heart and courage. As Finn journeyed through the forest, he encountered a wise old fox with a silver-tipped tail. The fox spoke with a gentle voice, "To reach the Whispering Willow, you must first solve my riddle. I can fly without wings, I can cry without eyes. Wherever I go, darkness follows me. What am I?" Finn pondered the riddle and replied, "A cloud." The fox's eyes twinkled with approval, and he pointed Finn towards a hidden path lined with glowing mushrooms. Finn thanked the fox and followed the path deeper into the forest. The enchanted grove. The path led Finn to a beautiful grove where the trees shimmered with an otherworldly light. In the center of the grove was a serene pond with water so clear it seemed to reflect the stars. A graceful, golden stag with antlers like branches of a tree stood by the pond. The stag spoke softly. "To proceed, you must answer this riddle. I have cities but no houses, forests but no trees, and rivers but no water. What am I?" Finn thought carefully and said, "A map." The stag nodded and gently stepped aside, revealing a winding trail that led to the heart of the grove. Finn followed the trail with a sense of excitement and hope. The Whispering Willow. At the end of the trail, Finn found himself in front of the Whispering Willow. The tree was majestic and ancient, with branches that seemed to touch the sky. Its leaves rustled softly, as if whispering secrets to the wind. Finn approached the tree with reverence. A soft, ethereal voice echoed from the tree, "To receive the magic of the Whispering Willow, you must make a wish that comes from a heart full of love and selflessness." Finn took a deep breath and made his wish. "I wish for the river to be restored, so that the land may be fertile again and the villagers can thrive." As Finn spoke, the Whispering Willow's branches glowed with a warm, golden light. The light spread outwards, flowing through the forest and towards Eldergrove. Finn felt a gentle breeze as the magic began to work. The return to Eldergrove. When Finn returned to his village, he was greeted with a miraculous sight. The river had returned, its waters sparkling and flowing freely. The land was lush and green, the fields were fertile, and the villagers were overjoyed. The villagers celebrated with a grand feast in Finn's honor, grateful for the magic of the Whispering Willow that had restored their home. Finn's bravery and selflessness had brought prosperity and happiness back to Eldergrove. The tale of Finn and the Whispering Willow became a cherished story in the village, a reminder of the power of kindness and the magic that can be found when one's heart is full of love for others. And so, Eldergrove continued to flourish, forever blessed by the magic of the Whispering Willow and the heart of one extraordinary young boy. Once upon a time, in a kingdom called Eldoria, there was a small village named Willowbrook. The village was named after a magnificent willow tree that stood at its center. This willow tree was no ordinary tree, it was the Whispering Willow, known for its ability to share wisdom and secrets with those who listened carefully. In Willowbrook lived a young girl named Elara. Elara was kind-hearted, adventurous, and always eager to learn new things. She loved spending time by the Whispering Willow, listening to its gentle murmurs and dreaming of far-off lands and exciting adventures. One day, as Elara sat under the tree, she heard a soft, urgent whisper. The willow told her of a hidden kingdom beyond the great mountains where a powerful enchantress had cast a spell, plunging the land into eternal darkness. The enchantress had stolen the Heart of Light, a magical gem that kept the kingdom bright and prosperous. Without it, the hidden kingdom was doomed. Determined to help, Elara set off on a quest to find the hidden kingdom and retrieve the Heart of Light. she packed some provisions, said goodbye to her family, and set out on her journey. As Alara traveled through dense forests and crossed swift rivers, she encountered a wise old fox named Finn. Finn had heard of Alara's quest and offered to accompany her. "The road ahead is fraught with dangers," he said, "but together, we can overcome them." Alara gratefully accepted Finn's help, and the two continued their journey. They traveled for days, facing many challenges along the way. They crossed the treacherous moonlit marsh, where they were guided by glowing fireflies, and climbed the towering crystal cliffs, where they met a kind-hearted eagle named Alicia, who gave them a ride across the chasm. One evening, as they camped under the stars, an old woman appeared before them. She was the enchantress of the enchanted forest, who had heard of their quest and wanted to help. She gave Alara a silver locket and said, "This locket holds a piece of the heart of light. It will guide you to the hidden kingdom and protect you from the enchantress's dark magic." With renewed hope, Alara, Finn, and Alicia continued their journey. The locket's light guided them through the darkest parts of the forest and over the highest mountains. Finally, they arrived at the hidden kingdom, shrouded in shadows and despair. The enchantress's castle stood tall and ominous in the distance. As they approached, the enchantress appeared before them, her eyes filled with malice. "You dare to challenge me?" she sneered. "You will never retrieve the heart of light." Alara stepped forward, holding the silver locket. "I believe in the power of light and love," she said boldly. "And I will not let you keep this kingdom in darkness." The enchantress laughed and summoned a storm of dark magic. But as the magic swirled around them, the locket glowed brighter and brighter. The light from the locket enveloped Alara, Finn, and Alicia, protecting them from the enchantress's spells. With a burst of courage, Alara held the locket high. Its light pierced through the darkness and shattered the enchantress's magic. The enchantress cried out in defeat and vanished into the shadows. Alara and her companions entered the castle and found the heart of light, hidden in a dark chamber. As Alara touched the gem, it began to glow, filling the room with radiant light. The kingdom was restored, and the people rejoiced as the darkness lifted. Alara, Finn, and Alicia returned to Willowbrook, heroes of their time. The Whispering Willow welcomed them back with joyful whispers, sharing their story with all who would listen. The village celebrated their bravery and the return of light to the hidden kingdom. And so, Alara's name became a legend in Eldoria, a tale of courage, friendship, and the power of light over darkness. The Whispering Willow continued to share its wisdom, and Alara lived a life full of adventures, always guided by the light within her heart. And they all lived happily ever after. I hope you enjoyed the tale. Once upon a time, in a village nestled between majestic mountains and a sparkling river, there lived a curious boy named Finn. Finn was known for his bright blue eyes and adventurous spirit. His favorite place to explore was the Whispering Meadow, a beautiful field just beyond the village where wildflowers swayed and the wind told ancient tales. One warm summer evening, as Finn wandered through the meadow, he stumbled upon a hidden path he had never noticed before. The path was lined with twinkling fireflies, leading him towards a secluded grove. At the heart of the grove was a small, shimmering pond that seemed to glow with an otherworldly light. As Finn approached the pond, he noticed that the water was filled with tiny, sparkling stars. The pond was like nothing he had ever seen before. Curious, he knelt by the edge and gazed into the water. To his amazement, a gentle voice spoke from the pond. "Welcome, young traveler. You have discovered the Starlight Pond, a place of great magic and mystery." Finn looked around, searching for the source of the voice. "Who are you?" he asked. "I am Alara, the guardian of the Starlight Pond," the voice replied. "This pond holds a secret that can only be revealed to those with a pure heart and a brave spirit." Finn's eyes widened with excitement. "What secret?" Alara explained, "The pond has the power to grant one wish to someone who proves their worth by completing a quest. To unlock the magic, you must find the 3 hidden stars scattered across the land." Determined, Finn accepted the challenge. Alara told him that the first star was hidden in the enchanted forest, the second in the Cave of Echoes, and the third in the Valley of Shadows. Finn set off on his quest, starting with the enchanted forest. As he entered the forest, he was greeted by a friendly squirrel named Nutmeg. "Can you help me find a hidden star?" Finn asked. Nutmeg nodded eagerly. "I know the forest well. Follow me." They ventured deeper into the forest until they reached a large, ancient oak tree. Nutmeg explained that the star was hidden high up in the tree, but it could only be reached by solving a riddle. Nutmeg recited the riddle: "I have cities, but no houses. I have mountains, but no trees. I have water, but no fish. What am I?" Finn thought for a moment and then answered, "A map." The oak tree's branches parted, revealing a golden star nestled among the leaves. Finn took the star and thanked Nutmeg, continuing his journey to the Cave of Echoes. The cave was dark and eerie, but Finn was not afraid. Inside, he met a wise old bat named Sable, who guarded the second star. Sable explained that the star was hidden behind a wall of echoes, and Finn needed to use his voice to reveal it. Finn spoke out loud, reciting a poem he had learned from his grandmother. The echoes danced around him, creating a harmonious melody. As the echoes faded, the wall parted, revealing the second star. With the second star in hand, Finn proceeded to the Valley of Shadows. The valley was shrouded in darkness, and Finn could barely see. He was met by a shadowy figure named Shade, who guarded the final star. Shade challenged Finn to confront his deepest fear. Finn closed his eyes and took a deep breath, remembering the adventures he had faced and the friends he had made. He opened his eyes with newfound courage and stepped forward. Shade, impressed by Finn's bravery, handed him the final star and said, "You have faced your fears and proven your worth." With all 3 stars, Finn returned to the Starlight Pond. Elara emerged from the water, her form glowing with the light of the stars. She congratulated Finn and asked, "What is your wish?" Finn thought about it and said, "I wish for my village to always be filled with wonder, magic, and joy." Elara smiled and waved her hand. The stars from the pond rose into the sky, casting a brilliant light over the village. The village was soon filled with enchanting creatures, magical events, and a sense of wonder that never faded. Finn returned home, greeted as a hero. He shared his adventures with the villagers, and the Starlight Pond became a cherished place of magic and inspiration. And so, Finn's wish came true, and the village thrived with magic and happiness. Finn's bravery and pure heart became legendary, reminding everyone that magic could be found by those who dared to seek it. And they lived happily ever after. The end. Once upon a time, in a kingdom where the mountains touched the sky and the rivers sang lullabies, there lived a young prince named Orion. Orion was brave and kind, beloved by his people. But beyond the kingdom lay the Whispering Woods, a mystical forest filled with secrets and legends. It was said that deep within these woods, there was a hidden grove where the moonlight flower bloomed once every 100 years. This flower had the power to grant one true wish to whoever found it. As fate would have it, the kingdom fell under a terrible curse. The crops withered, the rivers dried up, and an unending darkness loomed over the land. The people grew desperate and turned to Prince Orion for salvation. Remembering the tales of the moonlight flower, Orion vowed to find it and save his kingdom. With a heart full of determination, Orion set out for the Whispering Woods. As he entered the forest, the trees seemed to whisper secrets and warnings, but he pressed on. The path was treacherous, and soon he encountered his first challenge, a raging river with no bridge or ford. Desperate, Orion called out for help. To his surprise, a graceful deer appeared. "Why do you seek to cross this river, brave prince?" the deer asked. "I seek the moonlight flower to save my kingdom from a terrible curse," Orion replied. The deer, seeing the sincerity in his eyes, offered to help. "Follow me," it said, leading Orion to a hidden path of stepping stones. Grateful, Orion crossed the river safely and continued his journey. Deeper into the woods, Orion came upon a glade where a fierce griffin was trapped in a net. The creature thrashed and roared, its golden feathers glinting in the dim light. Without hesitation, Orion approached and cut the net, freeing the griffin. "Why did you free me, human?" the griffin asked, its voice a blend of curiosity and gratitude. "Because no creature deserves to be trapped," Orion replied. "I seek the moonlight flower to lift a curse from my kingdom." The griffin, impressed by Orion's bravery and kindness, offered its assistance. "Climb on my back. I will take you to the heart of the Whispering Woods." With the griffin's help, Orion flew over the forest, marveling at the beauty and mystery below. They soon reached a dark, foreboding part of the woods where the trees were twisted and the air thick with magic. In the center stood an ancient, gnarled tree with a hollow trunk. "This is where your final challenge lies," the griffin said. "Inside the tree, you must face your greatest fear." Orion took a deep breath and stepped into the hollow tree. Inside, he was engulfed in darkness, and the whispers of the forest grew louder, turning into taunts and jeers. Shadows formed around him, embodying his deepest fears and doubts. But Orion remembered his purpose and the people he loved. With courage in his heart, he faced the shadows and they dissipated, revealing a hidden passage. At the end of the passage, Orion emerged into a breathtaking grove bathed in silvery moonlight. In the center of the grove bloomed the moonlight flower, its petals shimmering like stars. Overwhelmed with awe, Orion approached the flower and plucked it gently. As he did, the grove filled with a radiant light, and a soothing voice echoed, "You have shown bravery, kindness, and a pure heart. Your wish shall be granted." With the flower in hand, Orion wished for his kingdom to be freed from the curse. Instantly, he was transported back to his kingdom, where the sun was shining, the rivers flowing, and the fields lush with crops. The curse was lifted, and the people rejoiced. Prince Orion's journey became a legend, a tale of courage and kindness that was told for generations. The Whispering Woods remained a place of mystery, but also of hope and magic. And every 100 years, the moonlight flower would bloom again, waiting for another pure-hearted soul to find it. And they lived happily ever after. The end.